Okay, is Ginny becoming a mean girl?
Because she jinxed someone?
Yeah.
Hexed someone.
Not only because she hexed
Oh,
someone,
because of phlegm?
because of phlegm and because Ron, who was inundated with phlegm, with Floor, with how beautiful she was,
She trips.
goes to receive a kiss from phlegm. And she tripped her brother. I mean, no, it's like sibling, but is she kind of becoming mean girl?
No, she's being like her brothers, so I disagree.
She's just never been this hot before.
Whoa.
She doesn't know how to handle it.
Yeah.
Extra
hot
spicy.
tamale. See, I knew she was rising.
Yeah. Even the Slytherins think she's attractive.
Yeah.
But she had Fred and George as brothers.
But they didn't, I don't think they teased her like this.
But they will. I don't know.
I feel like, to me, I think Ron would tease her
protected
more
her?
than Fred and George would. I feel like Fred and George are the protective brothers, kind of. Or like only they can tease her. If anybody else tries to tease her, they
But
will.
the little girl
They'd
and
stand
the
up,
baby of the family and the only girl, she's got
was
to
gonna
stand
say,
up for herself
yeah.
and joke around
Yep.
with them.
I'm not the youngest of 5, but the second youngest of 5. You gotta, and I'm like 2 feet tall. You gotta, I don't know, you gotta build out something.
gotta be feisty.
You do have to be feisty.
I think so.
We haven't seen anything truly mean girl, but I'm starting to think of her a little bit that way. She was so with Floor, she had like a one-liner every time Floor came up.
Yeah.
For everything Floor did. And it's funny because we didn't take any of it too seriously. But I'm cautiously watching Ginny's moves.
It's still like a playful.
Yeah.
To
I
it.
don't know. I don't think it's mean yet.
But she's in like a little seesaw right now. She could transition to being a mean girl, or she could be kind and nice. Which I think she
Depends
is.
who her partner is. in the
Jury's
future.
still out.
Although
James
there
Potter was a mean boy.
But
so.
there was also a
Yes.
comment about Harry saying like, "Oh, I forgot I would have to share like Ginny with everyone," or
What?
Yeah.
something
Oh,
along
on
the
the train?
lines on the train. Like, "Oh, I forgot."
Oh, like
Like-
that. Yes, yes.
And
She
I'm
forgot
like,
Jenny
huh.
had like friends and a life outside of him,
Yeah,
but they
like
didn't
I'm
hang
not
out.
gonna spend all my time with her or something like that.
Do you think that
Yeah.
do you think that Harry has a crush on Jenny?
I don't think he knows he has a crush on her.
Huh.
I think they'd be good for each other.
It is pretty early, but that was a decent piece of evidence. And I think Harry takes her for granted because she's had a crush on him in the past, and like
Yeah.
he might kind of think still does, but then to see her with other guys, I think he's a little like, oh. And then even as friends, he's like, oh wait, I forgot she doesn't hang out with us during the school year, and that like made him a little sad. But is that only lonely and Ginny is like his 5th choice for someone to hang out with? I don't
Right.
know.
Whoa, I hope not.
Jenny is definitely a hot commodity and a hot tamale. Like she goes from guy to guy. She can get anyone that she wants at that school.
Mm-hmm.
'Cause
Even
she's
Blaze
that good
Zabini.
looking.
I know she is that good looking.
Blaze.
And I don't think Harry you were right. I don't think Harry realized that up until this point. Maybe he still doesn't realize.
But not only does she have good looks, she's got the brains
I know.
and the magic.
And the hexing ability.
Yep.
But I don't. The hexing is. What is that different? How is that different from a jinx?
There's all little minutia around it. I think it's pretty much the
It's
same
based the
thing.
same
Just-
thing,
yeah,
right?
It's,
Okay.
There's just different words to describe the same thing, I think. That's a
I
generalization.
don't. But I guess
I'm sure
I
there's people
also
that-
Yeah.
don't get. It's like, don't you just memorize how to say it? So how is she so good at it? That's where I'm getting confused.
Yeah, I think there's that's interesting. I think for
'Cause,
basic
like-
spells, like to me, Lumos, you get it and you get it. If there's other spells like Avada Kedavra, you have to mean. So I think there's a spectrum. Like
Oh.
for a hex, I think the more you mean it and the more, I don't know, maybe in your enunciation or like what you're focusing on, like the Patronus charm, the more you're focusing, the more you're able to cast a shield. And the same is true for like a hex. Like the more
Yep.
you're focusing on this and like you really want this person to have bat bogeys, then they'll have bat bogeys.
That's what you did.
Yeah, I think it was a bat bogey hex.
I don't know what that is.
I don't know what it is either.
Oh, good.
I'm guessing you
Nobody
have
knows
bats
what it
come out of
means.
your nose or as bogeys.
Like,
Oh, like
normal-sized bats?
boogers.
Maybe.
That would be
Can
painful.
I Google
Yeah,
it, or is that illegal?
What is the bat bogey hex?
Yeah,
That's a great intro question.
Is that like boogers, but like a British thing?
They come
I
out
think
shaped
so.
like
Bogeys?
bats.
Bogeys? Yeah. Okay, all right, I gotcha.
I would
Yeah.
assume so. I don't know what else it would be.
That would
to
be a
honest.
decent little playful hex.
Yeah.
But the fact that Slughorn was impressed by it, I'm like, all right, I'll be impressed by it too then.
Yeah, Slughorn's another interesting one, but we'll talk about this in a second. But anyway.
Ew, you're right. I Googled it.
Really?
Yeah, it's the first thing that comes up. Harry Potter fandom.
Yes.
So it's bats
It
as
says-
boogers coming out of your nose?
Yep, large bats that fly out of a victim's nose. And
Like
there's-
actual bats?
And there's a slimy little thing.
Large. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Green, slimy bats.
Ew, that's gross.
Really nasty.
Oh, there's a
That's
hand.
more gross than the jam.
This is so cool. Don't worry, I'm not going to do
Didn't even
anything.
look at it.
But it shows you the hand movement on this thing.
Oh, yes.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Wow.
For the wand. We should
That's like in a
memorize
video
it.
game. You have to do the hand motion for whatever it is or something like that.
You don't have this one down? Like Ginny?
I don't have that one.
Danny does.
That's hysterical.
Bless you.
God bless you. God bless you.
Only 4?
Yeah, because the last one was like double. And that was...
I always sneeze in my shirts.
Anyway, you have the bat bogey hex.
Now that everybody knows.
That was the question we were going to ask you to make sure you were Kristen. Do you always
gross.
sneeze in
Oh,
your shirt?
man.
Never.
Wow, those questions would be great questions. The person might have to actually even think about it. They might not realize they do.
All right, let's get started. Welcome to the podcast. I'm John,
Jenn.
Danny.
And Kristen.
and this is Harry Potter and the First Time Readers. Okay, this is your usual reminder for everything that we have going on. First of all, I just started an Instagram and I've been populating that thing like crazy for the last few days. So it's almost up to date with the podcast. So go follow us on Instagram. It's First Time Readers. Go check our website out, firsttimereaders.com. Email us at firsttimereaders@gmail.com. Check out our subreddit, r/firsttimereaders. Check out our Twitter, First I'm Readers. Go support us on Patreon at First Time Readers. Go subscribe to us on YouTube at First Time Readers. And then all the other stuff, I don't even know. I think that's pretty much it. But we are just really grateful again that you guys are supporting and listening to this podcast. It's just been really fun. And I just really want to thank you. Give us some good reviews and ratings. You guys have already done that. And we're really appreciative of all the nice things that you said about this podcast and just how much people seem to be enjoying this. And I'm planning to do this with more people as we go on. And I'm really excited about just finishing this book with this crew because it's been a journey. It's been fun. It's been pretty much a year since we started this podcast. So we just want to thank you. I couldn't have done this obviously without Jen, Kristen, and Danny. They are the best. And if you can, drop them an email or a line just saying how much you like them, because they're so good at this podcasting thing and none of them had experience before. So just shoot your thanks and praise to them because that would mean the world. But anyway, enjoy these chapters 6 to 8 of Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince. All right, we're going to fly through some of these questions, but there's a lot of stuff that we have to talk about for all of these chapters. So this chapter opens up, which is chapter 6. Obviously we have to give a summary. Give me a summary of chapter 6, Draco's Detour.
Still not a fan of these summaries.
That was like a groan of, I'm going to kill you, John.
Do you want to go for it, Danny?
Oh, yeah, sure. The fam goes to Diagon Alley to get school supplies and visit Fred and George's shop. Malfoy was being a little sus, so they spied on him.
He was trying to do something weird in Borgin and Burke's.
And we don't really know what it
So
is.
cool.
So basically that was just a whole thing at Borgin and Burke's.
Yeah.
He was asking the guy to hold something for him and asking him to fix something.
And Harry did a lot of detective work.
Yeah, they were all turning into little detectives, and Hermione's a bad actress. And yeah.
Oh my gosh, that was terrible.
That was terrible.
She
I was so
was-
shocked
something,
that she
though.
did a bad
I'm
job.
glad she acted, like took action, but
But
it was sloppy work.
she
froze.
could've just, yeah. It's just so bad.
This
That's
chapter
my
does.
friend.
Yeah, I know. So it does open up and it says he spent most of his days playing two-a-side Quidditch in the Weasley's orchard. He and Hermione against Ron and Ginny. Hermione was dreadful and Ginny good, so they were reasonably well matched. How much does Ron suck at Quidditch?
I know, that's so mean.
Such a
I was
dig.
like,
Harry's
well
like-
matched.
Harry's like, I'll play with Hermione. Hermione is easily the worst. I'm easily the best. Ron must suck because Ginny is good.
Yeah.
You feel bad for Ron in that moment.
Poor Ron.
Yeah, that is very unfortunate.
And then also in this chapter, which is almost one of the next things, you learn that Igor Karkaroff is dead.
I know.
If we believe
Rockbot.
it,
If you believe it. Okay, do you believe it or not?
I don't believe it.
Again,
You
the
think it's
differences
just a
between
rumor?
us. I'm like, no.
Yeah, me too. The skeptic over here.
Interesting.
So there,
Kristen was like, no.
You guys, I believe everything.
But also,
it's
I'm
said
like,
in the
I still
book, I
don't know if
believe
we
it.
like him.
Said-
I a little bit
There's
like him by the
something,
end,
yeah.
but only like a little bit, cautiously. I was sad that he was dead until I realized he's probably not. Or maybe that's how
Wow.
sad I was, that I need to cope by pretending it's not real.
Wait, I don't get it though. Why,
Here's the thing.
Why do you think
he's
not
just a
dead?
very good wizard, and Slughorn on the brain, he could have come up with something here. I don't know what.
Oh,
but
like
something.
a fake death.
Yeah, either fake his own death so that the Death Eaters from Great Britain assume that the Scandinavian Death Eaters took care of it.
Oh yeah, because he is Death Eaters everywhere, right?
Well, yeah, I'm kind of making that up. Maybe that's not even real.
I hope he doesn't.
And I feel like Voldemort would be in contact with all of them. They'd at least have communication, but maybe not. Or maybe even if they weren't Death Eaters directly, could be Death Eater wannabes or like little stooges. I don't know. But either way, it could be something along those lines where he's trying to make it look like he's dead so they stop looking for him. Also could be that they actually found him, but he faked his death. He could do... Ooh, that was mean. Polyjuice on the random soul to look like him, and then a random person just got killed in his place.
Oh my god.
He could maybe do a spell thingy to make something look like him.
So
yeah, but he has the branding, so like, how doesn't that connect them somehow?
yeah, it's like a little thumbprint. Like this is this guy.
So then
Is
you
that
know
it?
if he's
Ooh.
alive or dead. Maybe too. I don't know.
Maybe him and Dumbledore both chopped off their arm and swapped arms. And Dumbledore's arm is turning black because he had to kill the arm that had the dark mark on it. No, I don't know. It's
Is it his left arm? No, it's his right. Isn't it?
Dumbledore's. I
Do we
pictured
know?
Dumbledore's as being his right. I don't know why.
Yeah, I know.
Um,
And I thought everything was on the left. The branding for the Death Eater. No, am I wrong?
I kind of
It is,
pictured
I
that
think
as
it's
being
the left.
right
Yeah.
too.
They said left for
Dark
this
mark is on the
stuff.
left.
Well, at least for Malfoy's
Hmm.
situation was the left
He
hand.
showed his left.
But you read it straight read. Igor is dead.
Yeah.
Okay.
Danny, why are you so mistrusting of certain things that happen in the text?
What?
Um,
Some
well,
things.
To be fair, it's not that I'm mistrusting. Like, if I had to guess right now, I do think he's dead, but just barely.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't surprise me if he wasn't dead. So I feel like until I know for sure,
Yeah.
I don't
you see the
close
body.
it
You
off.
want
But even then,
evidence.
but
Yeah.
even then with Barty Crouch Jr.,
I know,
we
I know.
saw the body.
I
or
know.
even with Buckbeak, the unmistakable thud.
Yeah.
She literally will throw those things in there as unmistakable, but it was a mistake.
Yeah.
Or where someone is being buried and Sirius watches the burial happen,
So
and then
is,
it was Polyjuice and
is
fake.
this why you have been on this for a while too, that you don't necessarily think Petunia is a squib, or you don't really know the origin of Lily's family? Like, do
Yeah.
you think that they could be wizards still? Because the text has been somewhat clear about Lily is Muggle-born and Petunia was not magical at all. But you think there might be something else there because you just don't trust that yet.
Yeah, and the people we've heard that from are not the most reliable. Like some of them are, but it was never ever like a clear thing.
Yeah.
So for me, until it becomes more clear, I love entertaining all the possibilities. So maybe it's just how my brain works, but if it's not established, then I like keeping that door open because there's room for some fun theories in the meantime. And then later we get a little more information, and then I can open that door again and entertain a new idea. So with like Lily, I'm at like 80% sure it's a straight read. Her parents really were muggles.
But there's
and
still
she
like that
was
little bit
pretty-
of a percent that you want to explore.
Oh
and
yeah,
try to figure
definitely.
out.
I'm saying Petunia. In my mind, there's still like a 45% chance that she has some wizard abilities. I'll say 40. Just because we've never seen it actually come out in all of her anger at Harry. And I feel like it would have, unless she's got more self-control than I realize.
Yeah. What
but-
happens too if you don't like? Do you think that something happens as a magical person if you withhold your magic?
I think I'm entertaining that as the red pill, blue pill moment, like in the Matrix, where you have to kind of choose.
Yeah.
So Harry was a kid. He was magical. And he gets his letter to Hogwarts and he embraces it and goes down that road. What if he chose the opposite? Said, I don't want to be magic. Do you
have a choice?
Do you have a choice? Do you forget any of those things?
Yeah.
Can Dumbledore come around and fix up your memory and even take away your magic and say, look,
Interesting.
why don't you donate some of your magic juice to a stranger who might need it? Or like however they would do it. I don't know. Like,
How would you do that?
well, I'm just making it up because like, is it something that can be extracted? I'm thinking Voldemort might actually be trying to
Extract magic. That's
extract the
interesting, yeah.
magic from people. And then maybe the magical power is something that can be transferred. But I was kind of just spitballing on that. More likely, if anything, they would just say, cool, you're not going to be magic. I'm going to put a little spell and block you.
Yeah. What are you guys laughing at?
Something dirty,
Magic
I'm sure.
juice.
Oh gosh.
I don't know. You extract from
I
their
am-
blood.
I am curious why wizard genetics isn't better than what it is, to be honest. I feel like they should be able at this point in human history to like assure that people are wizards or witches in some kind of
interesting.
magically
Yeah.
genetical way. Like you can make like if you want, you can have your kid be like a redhead, you know? Like you can choose.
Talking about now? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So I guess
Yeah.
In the
we're like
Muggle world.
50 years kind of from when the book kind of happened, or 40 years actually, but still. What do you think about Ollivander being gone too?
He's probably hiding somewhere, though. I don't think.
So you think he's hiding, not taken?
Because I feel like he's smart. If he's creating wands, he's smart,
Yeah.
and he knows what's up. He can
He
hide.
does know what's up.
A lot of bad things have happened since the Roman Empire. Isn't that when he's been around? Like since before Rome?
I don't know. You have the timeline.
He hasn't, but his shop. Has
His
been.
shop. Yeah, his family shop. So I'm just thinking
He's a vampire, actually.
it's like when you've had a shop open that long, you've been through stuff. He's got contingencies, you know?
Yeah.
I feel like his family has set up for whatever could occur. So I feel like they probably just went through whatever that process is. And Ollivander, who I just assume is married with a charming wife, can be like, all right, it's
You're
time,
not.
honey. Let's get out of here. Let's go to our secret island somewhere, relax, or up into the mountains or a cave in Switzerland.
So do you think
And
it's? Well, you guys are having a whole side podcast here.
yeah, you're just
on
with your
dirty
eyes.
jokes or something.
No, this was just his future wife, I guess. Fantasy. Come on,
So you guys are gonna be
wifey.
like going on an island. Danny's gonna be a wand maker, and
Yep.
you guys are gonna go out to an island.
This is
'cause
your
he's gonna
future,
come-
So I'm like, yeah, he had a plan. But the idea of him being kidnapped, it's a possibility. I don't think it's likely at this point, but that's it's a little scary.
Do you think?
I mean,
so-
I guess he could be kidnapped too, but I feel like he's smarter than that. I don't know.
Where do you view him in your wizard ranking, like in your power ranking? I always forget about him, but
Yeah, me too.
now I'm trying to like place him.
I don't know. He seems to know ancient magic too, because he's
Yeah.
like talking about the connection. I didn't think that you guys would be a match, and when it was
Yep. He understands like
Voldemort and Harry's wand, the sister wands or whatever.
maybe he's the one Dumbledore's consulting with because he's got that family line, and he probably is the dude sitting in the library. The basement of his shop is all old scrolls.
Maybe
and books.
he's in Hogwarts too. Ollivander.
Interesting.
There could be some spots in Hogwarts to hold people.
Well, they just put
Dumbledore-
like 1,000 spells
Yeah,
to
right.
protect it, so
So
I feel
where
like
else would
all
you
their
go,
people
right?
should be in it.
Even Horace, who was all nervous running
Except
around.
Snape's in
is
there. We don't
now.
really know what he is.
Yeah, we don't trust everything about it for sure.
Run through
But
the two
it's pretty
scenarios.
safe.
Why, if Ollivander was captured, why would he be captured? What do they want from him? In the same vein, why, like, what would they have wanted from Slughorn too? And then if he is hiding, why did he go into hiding? Like, what is he hiding from the Death Eaters or from Dumbledore or whoever?
If he got kidnapped, it's because Voldemort saw Harry's wand and his connect. And so he probably like, I got it from you. You need to tell me more about this.
He'd be a perfect source of information.
Yeah.
What is Priori Incantatum? None of my Death Eaters know about that stuff.
Yeah, and I need to know how to undo this or fix it.
And did you make another wand with the same thing that I can now try and trump his wand? Is there
or
a third
better
one? Is there? Yeah. Like, can you do something about this now? Because if the same,
But
or
I
did
also-
Dumbledore already confirm the Phoenix only gave 2 feathers?
Yes.
Okay, so there can't be a third. Maybe.
Uh-huh.
But they could at
But
least
it
pick
doesn't
a
make
third.
this
In
whole
Danny's mind, there's always the
wand
possibility.
stuff. I know.
But for us, Dumbledore
It's-
says so.
and it's
so
also
yeah,
there's
Dumbledore
a
says
time
it, that
traveler,
locks
it
so
up
who
pretty
knows?
good.
They
Yeah,
went
for
back in
sure.
time, and he actually took a third feather
Yeah.
from the Phoenix and made a third wand. How about that? Whoa.
You're so right. It's true. Yeah, so they would just have control. They had a little monopoly on quality wands. And we don't really know because there are other wand shops. I think Ron says it, right? They're like, oh, we'll just have to go other places. It's cool. But I think Ollivander's the best. I kind of feel like anyone who knows anything kind of knows that too. So
Do you think that there are other parts of like the world that have a different wand, like maybe prefer a different wand maker? Do we know of any other wand makers?
we
out there?
do because Crumb used a different wand maker and one that Ollivander had heard of. I forget the name. Remember?
Yeah.
I know it's not your thing.
I think it was Grigorovich.
Whoa, nice, John.
Pull that out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Is that real?
I think so.
No, I think
pull
that
that
is
out
it.
somewhere.
If that's not it, it's really close because that gave me a feeling, a good feeling.
Yeah, it's Grigorovich. Wow.
Nice.
That was
We would
legit.
crush it. We would crush a trivia. night.
Yeah, I know.
It'll happen
So-
sometime in our lives.
I know.
And so Ollivander, I forget if he asked or if he knew. Like he used it and he's like, "Oh, is this a Grigorovich wand?" And that means he's pretty substantial. Maybe their families also go way back, and that's
What
only
was,
Scandinavia, Great Britain. There's probably more around the world.
What was the core of Crumb's wand? Do you remember?
Ooh, we can get this because Jen, you made an astute observation about
Yours was
the.
Vila hair.
That he remembered. Oh, is it Vila hair?
Well, I was
Oh,
thinking
about
no,
each of the-
your observation was about what the
Dragon
wands did
string.
when Ollivander used them and how that kind of represents the person. But I forget if you also were accounting
yeah.
for what was in it. Like I thought maybe
But it wasn't-
Floor had a unicorn.
No, Floor had a
Hair.
Vila hair.
She
And
had a
that's
Vila
why-
hair and it
Yeah.
was double
So
Vila
I was
power.
thinking of them because Ollivander said that Vila hair makes more temperamental wands. And I was thinking he said that about Crumb's wand, but Crumb's wand is Dragon Heartstring.
Dragon
I
heartstring.
was gonna say that.
Your dragon
Just
heart?
But-
too confident.
And
Yeah.
Vila hair was kind of a new one for us too because we had heard of the unicorn, Dragon heartstring, and
But I think it would be great to have Vilas on your side.
yeah,
So having Phlegm around is good.
it's always good. Where is it? Yeah, I think so. I think she's better than Slughorn or Mundungus. But I also there's a part of me that doesn't fully trust Vilas.
Wait, you don't think Slughorn's
they're
good?
a little. No, I think he probably is, but I'm just cautious about him
Yeah.
because Lucius
I know.
and him seem to be tight. Seem to be boys.
Wait. Lucius and Slughorn? seem to be
No.
boys? No.
Yeah, a little bit because
They
we'll
were,
have to
not
get
anymore.
to not anymore, but they were, and I don't think Lucius used to be a gem. You know what I mean?
But you don't think that's because Slughorn just
Collected him?
Yeah, collected him. Because
totally possible.
Lucius is
But
high up.
I
in the
thought he
wizarding
also
world.
said that anyone that got caught by the ministry, he wanted to end ties with.
Exactly. So that he doesn't like him anymore because he was caught by the ministry.
Yeah.
But that just felt a little bit like self-preservation. Like,
Yep.
oh, they got caught, so now I'm going to cut ties. Well, why didn't you cut ties when you knew they were bad, not getting caught? And then Malfoy viewed him
I
a
don't
little bit
think that way.
positive. Right? Like Malfoy was kind of like jealous that he didn't get to go
Yeah.
to the thing.
Yeah.
So whatever Lucius said about Slughorn, if he ever came up, it wasn't negative, I don't think. So it's that kind of stuff where
I
I'm
also
like,
want to know what this branding
Slughorn is a little
process is
bit,
like. Can I be there for it? I want to watch it.
and And can only Voldemort do it, or anybody?
What about this line though? Because so Harry was talking about the Malfoys, or talking to the Malfoys. He says, "I see that being Dumbledore's favorite has given you a false sense of security, Harry Potter. But Dumbledore won't always be there to protect you." Harry looked mockingly all around the shop. Wow, look at that. He's not here now, so why not have a go? They might be able to find you a double cell in Azkaban with your loser of a husband.
That was crazy.
Is Harry right to instigate that kind of stuff?
No, but it was
like the move to me.
entertaining.
It was entertaining.
Yeah.
You're like, no, but it feels great when he says that.
Yeah.
It just feels a little bit. He's instigating where I'm like, "Ooh, we don't know enough to really be doing that, Harry."
We
But
know
I liked
enough.
it all the same.
Well, I guess we as the reader know enough.
I just know how strong and powerful women are, and maybe he should be scared of her a little bit.
Buttering you up.
Because we've never seen Mrs. Malfoy, Narcissa, do her thing. But I'm also thinking she's probably pretty legit.
Yeah. 100%.
I'm thinking her
I mean,
and Bellatrix
her
are kind of
husband
like.
is a Death Eater, and so is her sister.
And then there is
Yeah.
the
Oh,
added
yeah.
point where she's like the mother bear. Like,
Yep.
the way that she will protect her son is scary, but it's honestly like lovely at the same time.
Yep.
Like, she has a mother's love. Well, even though they're on the evil side, she will still do anything to protect her son.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like she could kill the majority of the people in this book if she was defending her son.
Yep. And even if the worst should happen and Harry, Ron, and Hermione start attacking,
Yeah.
what if Mother's Love protection gets on Malfoy?
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden he becomes Harry level invincible.
Yeah. Like even
It's just weird.
you mentioned in the last podcast, you don't necessarily think Mr. and Mrs. Weasley would be great in like a fight, but maybe I still maybe don't think Mr.
Ooh,
Weasley, but I feel like
nice.
if like Ron was threatened or something like that, or Ginny, her only daughter was threatened, I feel
Mother
like
bear.
she would
You're
like
right.
kill. Like if like Bellatrix like threatened like Ginny, I feel like Mrs. Weasley would just demolish
You're
her.
so right.
know? Because
There'd
Bellatrix
be some
isn't a
mega
mother.
spell. You're right.
So
Hmm.
well, she might be with Voldemort.
Yeah, because
Ew.
recently we've
in the
been,
off times that they're having fun. So
to switch back, I wrote in my book, I forgot, if Igor is actually dead, Snape betrayed him. Because I got the impression when they were talking outside of, was that the Yule Ball? That feels like so long ago. It felt like right then was when
we
he
also
ran
did.
off. And so if the Death Eaters found him in a random shack in the middle of nowhere, it feels like that was a betrayal from Snape. I doubt very many people knew where he
I think
was.
that was a one-sided thing. I don't think Snape was ever like fully on board with that.
Oh, no, I don't think he was either.
So-
But I think Karkaroff trusted him. And
yeah,
maybe
for sure.
not. in a good
Apparently,
way. He
everyone
shouldn't
trusts
have.
him though. Snape
Yeah.
has Dumbledore and
Yeah.
the Dark Lord trusting him.
Maybe he's a better Legilimens, Occlumens
I
than
told
we
you.
think.
That's
Yeah.
what I said.
If he can manipulate some minds.
There's all sorts of.
But we didn't answer your other question.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah,
Ollivander hiding. We only
Yeah.
answered the other
go
one.
ahead. Hit it, Jen.
Maybe it's gonna be lame now. He is hiding because he actually has the wand that could trump the Dark Lord if in the right hands. So
Huh.
maybe he's hiding it, or maybe he's hiding something that can go along with the wand. Don't know what that would be.
What do you mean the wand?
What
Like,
would
he has
make
a
the wand more
stored away?
powerful than the Dark Lords?
I also don't understand, like, the wand is its own power and the magician.
It is a
the
combination
wizard.
of both. Yeah.
I like it.
The wizard or witch has to have the right skill for it to match properly.
I'm imagining an analogy of a very large gun. If it is a more powerful gun, in theory it's better, but you still have to know how to aim it. So it's kind of the combination. Like, like a 22, a small gun would be more
Yeah, I know
powerful in the
nothing about
hands of a
guns.
military
So it's
person
not the
than
greatest
a
analogy.
rocket launcher in your hands. You know what I mean? It's
Hey.
not about just the gun. It's also about the person wielding it.
So I
I'm
think
thinking
there-
the same kind of idea, maybe.
I'm gonna limit that based on one small sentence.
Yeah.
Ollivander said the wand chooses the wizard. The wand has more of a mind of its own than a gun does, for sure.
So it can-
I think there's more of a point where the wand forms around whoever the owner of the wand is.
But the
in a weird way,
power,
like a pet.
That's
there's
weird.
like a bond and a
You
familiarity.
just said that's weird.
Yeah.
And the more you use it, you get
You
comfortable
actually
with
have
it. It gets
pets,
comfortable
then.
with you. Yeah, that's a pet I could deal with.
You have
know?
5.
Yeah, that's interesting. I like that.
Because
Has
that
a
would kind of
soul
confirm
or
even
what?
Jen's theory a little bit. Like, because you're saying that there's some sort of like wand that Ollivander has that can trump other wands.
Maybe, or he knows about something that's out there because he's been in
Yeah, I'm
the
curious if it's like something he would have to
the
make.
Half-Blood
like-
Prince wand.
Ooh, nice. Because what if he has the ingredients, but he never makes certain wands because
Yeah.
they're too powerful?
Right, so he's hiding
Why would
them,
that be?
and then he's hiding because he knows what they want.
And yeah, so either he got kidnapped or he ran away, but it still could be the same idea to just he doesn't want his knowledge falling into the wrong hands, or his like wands in the secret compartments in his shop or basement or attic or whatever.
What do you think would be like the most powerful? Like, do you think they're out of the cores? What is the most powerful? Like, is there a core that Ollivander isn't using because it's too powerful? And then on top of that, is there like a wood that is the most powerful wood? What would the most powerful wood be? I just felt your smile.
You're like I can't stop though, you know?
Oh my god!
I don't know. My wand was hawthorn wood,
Yeah.
and what was the other thing you said? The core.
Yeah, like what about a core or the length?
I would want a phoenix feather center.
Yeah, I would probably go for that too, or a dragon heartstring. To be honest,
I mean, the unicorn hair is pretty cool too.
yeah, I mean, you love unicorns.
I do.
I'm just curious
Can I
about
have
it because
both?
all the cores are magical living things, like creatures, whatever. So I'm
One
just
is
wondering if
like
there are
when
other
it's
parts
dead,
of
and
things.
one of them is when it's alive. So
The
does that matter?
heartstring, yeah, like that in theory requires killing a dragon.
What if you take like the wood from like a whomping willow? Because
That
it's
feels like
magical,
that
is
would
it more
be-
powerful?
Maybe, or
But
it
none
has.
of the ones
But then it
we've
has
seen
a
so
mind
far
of its
have
own, and it
been-
might just do whatever it wants.
Yeah, maybe
It'll
that
be
makes
finicky.
it uncontrollable or something. Because none of the wands
Or-
we've seen so far have been from magical trees or a whomping willow.
Or even like is depending on the tree is like an oak, a wand made from an oak, like a stronger, firmer, like
if the doors at Hogwarts are made of oak,
yeah, there you
then
go.
a strong wand could be made of oak for sure.
And then on top of this too, because Neville mentions this, wand lore is going to be a huge part of these chapters. Is Neville going to be better at magic because he has a new wand? Because he's not using his dad's
that
anymore.
actually like meant something. I was like, wait, that feels significant.
Yeah.
Because he got a hand-me-down wand. How
But-
could it have chosen him? But now he can get a wand that.
But a lot of
chose
them
him.
had hand me down.
Yeah.
Ron
Well,
did.
yeah, but that's why I think maybe they're not living up to their potential because they're all using wands that didn't choose them.
So but talk about this, like how some people, if they would get a hand-me-down, do you think it would universally not be the one that chose them? Is there any chance where you would get a hand-me-down and it would be the one that chose you because of like a family tie or something like that?
Potentially, but we don't know what qualities the wand looks for in a person. But if the wand sees something in a long bottom in nature, you know, they're like, you know what? Those long bottoms, good hearts. And then it could be perfect for Neville, where it's everything that his father was, except shaped more and maybe even kinder and more gentle, whatever it could be. Maybe that is the wand's way of getting to its perfect owner. But that's assuming a lot from a wand. I don't know if the wands can be that powerful
Yeah.
or knowledgeable.
So
Maybe they are.
Maybe.
wouldn't it be tough though for this though? Because doesn't it seem like Neville is starting his relationship with his wand all over again? It's like a breakup. He's got to start from scratch again. He's like in the dating phase with his wand
I
now.
don't think so.
I know, right?
That's true.
No, because if it's the wrong match, it's never going to work.
Right.
Well,
But it is the right match now.
so it might work way better, faster.
For sure.
Like 9.
just click.
Like, yeah. Just like that.
Starting over.
Who wants to start over, though?
Yeah, it's interesting. It might be slow, or maybe he's been so good even with the wrong wand. He's learning quickly now with Dumbledore's army. So maybe it all changes now.
Because this is even what athletes see, like pro athletes, like Kobe Bryant used to shoot with and Mormos used to shoot with a basketball that barely fit in the net. Just because when he would use a real basketball, he'd be like, "Oh, this is so easy now." So it was like Neville going to be an unstoppable wizard because he was like, he had like one hand tied behind his back with the wand that wasn't his.
Oh, that would be cool to see.
He like all of a sudden comes out and is, crushing
But
everyone.
I thought he was good at herbology or whatever.
Yeah.
So what does that have to do with wands?
It's another great question.
Well, maybe he can grow the tree with love. So after he's grown it, that will be a tree that started bonding with him before it was even a wand. Now that's a wand that can choose him from the very start.
Oh my gosh, that's like wow.
All right, here is the next little line though. Why are you worrying about you-know-who? You should be worrying about U-NO-POO, the constipation sensation that's gripping the nation.
Oh my gosh.
What do you think of the joke shop?
It's incredible.
Because again, we get even this description. This blew me away. Patented daydream charms. Hermione had managed to squeeze through a large display near the counter and was reading information on the back of a box bearing a highly colored picture of a handsome youth and a swooning girl who were standing on the deck of a pirate ship. One simple incantation and you will enter a top quality, highly realistic 30-minute daydream, easy to fit into the average school lesson and virtually undetectable. Side effects include vacant expressions and minor drooling. Not for sale to under 16s. Said Hermione, looking up at Harry. That really is extraordinary magic. For that, Hermione, said a voice behind them, you can have one for free. Like, they are exceptionally gifted wizards.
And so diverse.
Yeah.
They're covering everything medical.
They're
the
military
joke
contractors.
Stuff, military, daydream charms. It's nuts.
Who
I'm
needs
impressed.
school? Like Draco said.
So true.
I know, seriously. Like, honestly, these guys, they could have probably left school earlier and they would have been fine. But they are so inventive and creative that...
And they're doing stuff they love, so I feel like it's even better.
I know.
It comes out from
Yeah.
their heart.
I wonder where the daydream is, though.
What do you mean?
Like, what happens when you daydream? And
Is
can
it?
you trap
But
people
is
in a
everyone
daydream?
daydreaming the same dream?
No, I'm thinking each one is specific to
Did you
whatever.
just say, can you trap people in a daydream?
Oh, yeah.
This is going to turn into Inception.
It's
real
Inception,
quick.
right? You drop it in their
Danny's
food.
side book.
They're
What
at the
is
meal.
going
They're just
on?
eating their meal all innocently.
What goes on in your brain?
Daydream
So
begins.
many things.
And right when they start daydreaming, you grab them, you drag them somewhere else,
Was
and you
he
can
always
hide them
like
in a
this?
closet.
Yes.
I'm asking you.
It's
This is why we love them.
well, because honestly, as they're going through the
know.
shop, all I'm thinking is what things here can be turned into weapons for later in the book.
Yeah, for sure.
Obviously, those little distracting, run away, make loud noise things are going to come into it because
Decoy
Harry now
detonators.
has a bunch of them. They gave to him. But even these things, I'm like, those are pretty cool. And you could use them for so many different things. Slip it to Filch, start digging through the other things he confiscated,
It's just
Give
like,
it to
I wonder what
Malfoy.
Voldemort would daydream about.
Yeah, is it custom to the
Bellatrix.
person? Wow.
Oh,
Just
man.
slip him one of them. And then
Wow,
he's
that's crazy
distracted.
because if you do the daydream charm, then Harry could also get into their minds if he starts practicing his
Yeah.
occlumency.
Whoa.
Then that's where it really is Inception.
Yeah,
because
seriously.
maybe their guard's down when they're drooling and daydreaming.
Maybe at the end of this, Harry's going to like invade his mind in a daydream and he's going to just one simple message. Your father loved you. And it's going to be like, oh, it's going to be okay, just like Inception.
It's perfect.
I thought that was a Star Wars reference.
No. Well, kinda.
I am
Kinda
your
was, too.
father.
Yeah. There you go. Pulling up the Star
Oh
Wars
my gosh,
references.
Harry Potter went back in time with the time turner is actually Tom Riddle's dad.
Oh, okay, nice.
I thought you were going to pull out a
I thought you
Star
were
Wars.
going to go Star Wars. I'm
Yeah.
like, the universes are connected.
There is. I think I told
Okay.
you guys this before, but the Chronicles of Narnia siblings are
Oh, yeah.
supposedly the
Seen
4
that.
houses of Hogwarts.
Oh, yeah, you told
Um,
us that.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
the
awesome.
Founders?
Peter, Lucy, Susan, and Edmund in the Chronicles of Narnia.
You
are-
think you're dad, but you're not.
Yeah, there you go. And they kind of fit the personalities of the houses
Wow.
too. So, out of these 3 inventions though, because they mentioned 3 that are in the back: Peruvian instant darkness powder, decoy detonators, or shield hats. What do you think is their best invention, and which one would you want?
What are they in?
Yeah.
So, the one that they got the military contract from was shield hats,
Right.
Because people don't know how to do a basic shield around them, so everyone in the ministry is wearing shield gloves or cloaks or hats now, which is a absolutely brilliant invention.
Mm-hmm.
And then decoy detonators, which are little things that like will run away and they'll start a decoy so you can get away, which is another brilliant one. Or Peruvian instant darkness powder, which seems less like an invention and more like a discovery, like they refined something that was naturally existent in the world or something like that.
Magic in Peru confirmed! Exclamation point.
That's his note.
Yep.
I was like, where was that in the book?
It's in
Danny's like
Danny's
putting this on the
book.
bucket list. We will
yes,
go
I
to
could
Peru
go to
now.
my map on the wall and start shading Peru now. Because now we know Brazil and Peru, strong
gosh.
presence in South America.
You must take an hour to read a page.
Yeah, it's time consuming. You know what? The Peruvian darkness stuff, the distraction things, those are good, but it's all about how you use it. I'm just curious about the shield things they made and how good the shields are because
Yeah. Well, he said
they
don't protect
downplayed them. They're
against-
like, oh,
yeah.
minor jinxes and hexes and stuff. But can you make them more powerful to where they protect against better things?
What about your entire house?
I mean, that's what they started doing at Hogwarts, right? Like extra
that's
things. And then if you have a cloak, gloves, and a hat on, like, is it more powerful then? Because you're protected, or I guess boots too, or socks or underwear. Like, can you layer this stuff up and it becomes better? I don't know, but it's cool. And the Ministry thought it was important enough that they bought 500.
Yeah. Significant
that's-
amount of them.
But how do they have
Crazy.
time? How do they make them?
Well, that's what I'm wondering too. They must be like
it's
doing
quick
it
to make
from
it,
some third party.
or
They
they're
can't
just
be doing
really that
can
good.
They
at
must
making
have
them in Peru.
Well, they have employees, at least their intern, right?
They have to have employees. The amount of stuff that
But
was
I'm
in their
just
shop,
saying, like 500. How do you make 500?
they have some factory in the back or something like that.
And who my mind went to like house elves because they would be very nice workers in this kind of thing because they're also magical. But I don't know. Yeah, they can't be doing this. Well, they could. I don't know how hard
They
it
are
is.
still testing a lot of the stuff on themselves because
You're
they
right.
remember they got the eye cream for Hermione.
Yep.
Because she had a black eye,
Mhm.
and they gave her that, and they said we're testing a lot, so we needed a quick anti-bruiser or like bruise healer because they were just testing all the stuff on themselves.
Oh,
So they're
that's
probably
why.
still in their like infancy business stage, which is an exciting time. But
And I feel like a lot of this is about the R&D of it, but once you know how to do it, maybe it's not that time consuming.
Yeah.
You're like, wow, we found the perfect combination of charms to make this a good shield. And then you're like, here comes, boop, done. Next one, and then in an hour you could do 500. So maybe it's not as time consuming as we think. The hard part is when they're testing it and, you know, hey, wear this hat. Let me do a spell at you and see if it blocks it.
I would pay so much money to get Fred and George's notebook that they have all their
Oh my
ideas in.
goodness.
Like, how valuable would that thing be? Because again, they're coming like Hermione is saying that they're doing brilliant magic.
Yeah.
If she's saying that they're doing brilliant magic, what else do they have in their notebook that is like extraordinarily?
And they're
brilliant?
still kids. So
They're still
what
thinking
about
in a school context. They're not
yeah,
thinking
like
about a
what
military
about like the
context, really.
next level or like they might have ideas that are really good ideas. They just don't know how to execute them yet. So imagine like their notebook full of cool ideas, but in the hands of Dumbledore, who can now
Yeah.
take some of those ideas and make them reality and say, wow, I never thought to do that. Let's do it. Even the Ministry is thinking, wow, why didn't we think of that?
I know.
We'll take 500 of those.
Yep.
I'm surprised they don't have an entire department that's just about making
For real.
army stuff.
Yeah, they are brilliant. They're this reread especially because you guys have like very much emphasized how brilliant they are. I've never seen how brilliant they truly are until like this read of the books for me. They are extraordinary. This is another line, and this is what we'll kind of pivot the discussion on Draco a little bit. It says they had drawn level with the only shop in Nocturne Alley that Harry had ever visited, Borgin and Burke's, which sold a wide variety of sinister objects. There, in the middle of the cases of skulls and old bottles, stood Draco Malfoy with his back to them, just visible beyond the very same large black cabinet in which Harry had once hidden to avoid Malfoy and his father. Judging by the movements of Malfoy's hands, he was talking animatedly. The proprietor of the shop, Mr. Borgin, an oily-haired, stooping man, stood facing Malfoy. He was wearing a curious expression of mingled resentment and fear. And then it goes on after this, where they put the extendable ears there, and he says, "You know how to fix it?" Possibly, said Borgin in a tone that suggested he was unwilling to commit himself. I'll need to see it, though. Why don't you bring it to the shop? I can't, said Malfoy. It's got to stay put. I just need you to tell me how to do it. What is Draco trying to mend?
Did he actually bring something, or he was showing him a picture of something? And he said, because he said it has to stay where it is.
Mm-hmm.
I was wondering if it's something that looks like it's a Muggle item that his
like a
dad
trap or something.
Maybe when they were like going through the house, they like disrupted it, and they left it because it looked like a Muggle item, but it actually has an alternative. Whatever.
That's what Harry says to Mr. Malfoy, or not Mr. Weasley later.
Yeah, yeah, that's where I was like, oh, I wonder if the item
That's a great point.
Looks like a regular item, but it actually has power. And it needs to be fixed, but he can't leave it there. But I don't know what it is.
I know, that's the rub of the thing. You just aren't quite
idea.
sure what the heck it is.
And I feel like Harry doesn't know either. And he keeps he's making a few assumptions about what it is, and I can't tell if we should be taking those seriously or not. Like, he assumed that it was a pair of things because he was kind of saying, yeah, it looks like there was one there in the store, and that might be the good, or the one that's in good shape, but there's another one somewhere else that needs to be fixed. So yeah, I'm not really sure about it.
Time Turner?
That'd be pretty powerful.
Yeah. Because is that what he's showing him? Because he shows him his forearm next.
We think.
He shows him.
Well,
He shows him something.
funny
I
'cause
think forearm.
So, yeah,
Harry thought
Harry
that,
thinks
though.
the forearm.
Because I thought it was something like in his sleeve that he was
Yeah.
hiding it there, and he like unveiled it.
Could it
like,
be a
this
time
is
turner?
what it is.
Could be. You know, during this, my first thought was the mirror from Sirius, because I still keep thinking there's a connection, like there was another mirror that Sirius had, whatever. And my initial fear was Malfoy got the other mirror, and it's a pair, and he's going to now try and talk to Harry as Sirius, like Sirius from the grave, or, hey, this is a message for that Sirius left
He
you.
broke his
Like,
mirror though.
he broke his, but that's why it came to mind, because it's broken. And Malfoy said, I can't fix the other one, you know? So Harry has a broken one, and that's why Malfoy couldn't bring it to the shop, because it's Harry's. So what if he found the other one, and now he's like, look, you got to tell me how I can fix this thing from a distance so that he can start doing something with Harry with this
How
mirror.
does he even know about the mirror?
Well, if he found the other one. And we don't even know what the mirror is. We just know it came up for seemingly no reason and then was dismissed after it was broken. And the only reason I thought it might have come up is because Harry would feel extra bad that he could have just reached out to Sirius and solved all their problems. But Harry didn't even notice that. It didn't even faze him. So at least from a book perspective, I think the mirror is coming back. I just don't know when or how. So that's why when this came up, I was like, mirror. So maybe Harry just didn't recognize it for what it was, but when Lucius found the other one, which was on Sirius or whatever, got dropped in the Ministry, or they made it back to 12 Grimmauld Place before Sirius did, because of the theory that they told Creature to fake it, but it's really House of Black that got passed back to Bellatrix now. So then they find that other mirror in 12
It's
Grimmauld.
not Bellatrix, it's Harry's house.
That's what we think, but the only reason we think that is because Creature listened to Harry, but they could have gotten to Creature first and told him to listen to Harry to make Harry believe that it's
Oh
his.
my gosh.
He's so distrusting,
Wow.
and I love this. So hold on. You think that he was showing him either a fragment of the mirror or like the mirror?
I was thinking he found
Actually, I'm
the
not
pair
surprised.
of the
Look at
mirror.
all
these notes he
I didn't even
takes.
think of Grimmauld Place till now. I was thinking of like the cave near Hogwarts and stuff. But now I'm like, that would combine with the Creature theory, because I don't trust Creature. So if they go into 12 Grimmauld and they find this mirror and they already know, oh, this is a classic, it's a pair. These things always come in pairs, and it's a special mirror that lets you
But I don't
whatever.
get, what is this going to do?
That's what we don't know. But I'm just trying to think of
Surveillance.
things that Malfoy, things that are broken, for one. And we know the mirror is broken. We know it's a pair.
I just don't get how that's helpful.
Well, because then one of the things Malfoy might have done is shown him the other mirror. And then maybe this dude is like, oh my goodness, whoa, that's the fancy mirror, the mirror of Erised 2.0, the Erised walkie-talkies, and whatever it is, then maybe the guy viewed that as more special, and that's why it was a good gift from Sirius. Again, House of Black, it's kind of old. There's a big long line. So anyways, speculating a little wildly on such things. Would it help? I don't know. But I'm nervous about Malfoy, and he's more clever than we give him credit for. Yeah. And whatever Malfoy is doing now, it's not his own doing. He's not like that clever. This is coming from the people around him.
Or is it
probably
Lord
Bellatrix, Voldemort? Yeah. So if Bellatrix and all of them go to House of Black, they're like, "Yo, this used to be the Order of the Phoenix place, and we can set up a trap. Harry thinks it's his. We're gonna get him when he comes home from school later, or when he turns 17. So let's start building the perfect booby trap. And whoa, what do you know? We've got this this secret mirror that we assume Harry has the other part of. Let's start a little
refresh
thing.
my memory real quick. Is this the first time that you've heard the name Fenrir Greyback?
Yeah, I don't know.
This is the guy that Draco threatens to put into the shot with Borgin.
It is the first time because I added him to my character list here. But I only started making that in the last book. He might have been subtly referenced in the past. You remember that name?
Yeah.
Nice.
Why do you think Draco is so scared of him? Or not Draco, Borgin?
It makes sense what Harry was saying.
What did Harry say? How did he word it?
He just said that until he pulled his sleeve up, he changed his demeanor.
Yep.
Like he felt
Yeah, that it
different.
does
I don't know.
make sense.
We'll talk about this as we go on because it kind of touches on in chapter 8 a tiny bit. But let's talk about chapter 7, which is Slug Club. Someone give me a quick summary of this. Unless Danny has an extra point in chapter 6, which I know he does.
Always,
Real
but
quick.
you know, no. Well, for one, I'm wondering what about a necklace makes it worth 1,500 galleons?
Yeah.
That's a powerful necklace.
What do you think it does?
I don't know,
When
but
Hermione was
Dumbledore
terrible.
has a ring that seems pretty powerful.
Yeah.
So jewelry has power, which I don't think we've really seen before. So we're assuming that ring has power, and now we've got a necklace here worth a stinking ton. So, I mean, the Weasleys won the lottery, and that was half as much as this necklace costs.
I know, yeah.
So, anyways, that was the only other little note.
Jewelry. Danny's going to pay very close attention to any time jewelry is mentioned now.
To see if it means anything.
Yeah. All right, give me a summary of chapter 7, Slug Club.
You want me to do it?
Sure.
Or you have one.
I mean, I think I have. All right. Oh, we're on the Hogwarts Express.
Yes.
And then Slughorn invites a bunch of kids for lunch. That included Harry, Neville, and Ginny. And Harry spies on the Slytherins, but Malfoy discovers him. And Petrificus Totalis is him.
Perfect.
That's all I got.
It's great. And we'll pick up our discussion on Malfoy right here, too. It says, Malfoy, revenge? What can he do about it? That's my point. I don't know, said Harry, frustrated, but he's up to something, and I think we should take it seriously. His father's a Death Eater, and Harry broke off, his eyes fixed on the window behind Hermione, his mouth open. A startling thought had just occurred to him. Harry, said Hermione in an anxious voice, what's wrong? Your scar's not hurting again, is it? Asked Ron nervously. He's a Death Eater, said Harry slowly. He's replaced his father as a Death Eater. You think Harry's right?
I do.
If he didn't tell us all of this and we learned it more slowly, maybe. But the fact that he's just telling us outright, I'm like, it can't be that simple anymore.
Easy.
Why? Narcissists?
Because it all lines up.
whatever.
It makes a lot of sense, but it just feels
And the Snape
quick.
unbreakable vow.
Yeah.
To me, that makes sense.
So you think he's a Death Eater right now?
He replaced his dad as a Death Eater? Yeah.
But it feels so weird because I just can't imagine having a dark mark on your arm when you go to school. Like,
They
at
were
a time
robes.
like this, and yeah, I know, but or maybe he's got some spell that covers it up, but that feels weird too. Maybe it feels like a little much.
Or maybe it's a
And
fake
wouldn't his
one.
mom
Maybe
have
he made
noticed?
a fake one
Oh, that is true. Fake mark just to
to scare
scare
everyone.
him.
Actually, that'd be really good timing to do fake tattoos.
I know. For
And
real.
then you threaten everyone.
Yeah.
You don't want
Yeah.
I know.
to mess with me.
But so not a tattoo too, it's a brand, which is something that I realized
yeah.
after I forgot about that. Because he says he was branded with the
Right.
dark mark.
So he could do that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. We had a
That'd be
long discussion
painful
on
to
that.
brand yourself. Did I tell you a story in college once? I had friends that branded themselves. They bent paper clips in certain directions. They
And
had
then-
like a brand that they wanted in designs, and they superheated them over a fire and just put it on their forearm. And the brands looked terrible. Like they were awful.
Oh my.
And it stuck
Pretty
forever.
intense.
Yeah.
College
And
guys.
they just have a burn on their mark of.
Like, why?
Of what? An
Ooh.
S? Because that's pretty much all you can do with a paper
could you
clip.
see when it's that small?
No,
Is that the-
yeah? It was small enough, and it was stupid because it was small enough where like the burn like it just looked
Like
burnt
a
skin.
lump.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
looked like a
yeah,
lump. Yeah. It didn't look good at all. So
Hopefully you have hairy arms.
I know
These
exactly.
people.
You can cover over it.
Oof.
Yeah.
That's gross.
It's intense. I respect it.
Then he's like, it's giving me ideas.
Do you have one?
Nah. Except that little one on the back of my hand.
Oh, I was going to say, I thought you had something with a spoon.
Yeah, it was a fork right there for similar stupidity. Yeah. I think I told that story at some point.
Josh Ornette, we
But-
know. Oh, I shouldn't say it's full. We know that he has a. He has a scar from.
Totally so
was that from you?
That was from me.
Yeah,
I got
from
in
the hot
trouble.
glue gun. I think we told that story before.
we were making a diorama of Native American families, how they would grow up, and houses and all that. And I was trying to put an owl on the top of our tree, and I got distracted or something and missed it, and just hot glue right on his hand. And he has that scar to this day.
Ouch. Ow.
Yeah.
You learned how to use it now, though.
I think I knew how to use it, but I didn't understand the weight of it. You know, started to respect heat that day.
This was a line that we were talking about Neville as well. They're staring at you because you were at the ministry too, said Harry as he hoisted his trunk onto the luggage rack. Our little adventure there was all over the Daily Prophet. You must have seen it. Yes, I thought Gran would be angry about all the publicity, said Neville, but she was really pleased. Says I'm starting to live up to my dad at long last. She bought me a new wand. Look. He pulled out a wand and showed it to Harry. Cherry and unicorn hair, he said proudly. We think it was one of the last Ollivander ever sold. He vanished the next day. Oh, wait, come back here, Trevor. He's still his clumsy old self. And as a side note, we don't know where Ollivander went.
That little fiend.
What?
I think he was waiting on purpose to give this wand to Neville, and he was waiting to leave until he got this mission done. I gotta see this wand. Neville's wand.
That's
Think
what
of it.
my question was going to be.
Yeah, I'm like yelling in the mic.
Did he
'cause I'm
put
excited.
something interesting in the wand? Is
Oh,
there
he
something deeper in the
definitely did.
wand?
I think he said, "Fox, you got to give another
It's a unicorn
another
hair,
feather."
Danny.
And oh
He
shoot,
can't keep track
how does he
of
know
the
though? He
cores.
couldn't know. I feel like that wand might be special. Because why would he give that and then leave immediately? It feels like suspicious.
He could have been
timing.
kidnapped.
He could have been kidnapped, not in his control. But that timing, coincidence? I think not. I think he was waiting for that moment. Then he said, "Now I'm free to leave. My work here is done. Neville
You're-
has a wand that has chosen him. I can leave."
Neville's the last.
But would you know what the core was? No, why would he lie about it if it was...
Yeah,
He would lie
exactly.
about it to
Yeah.
keep it safe, though, because he wouldn't want Voldemort knowing that there was another Priori Incantatum wand out there.
I'm not trying to fan your theories, but Voldemort in the first book did drink unicorn blood. It could be possibly the same unicorn that he drank the unicorn blood
very
from. That there's some kind of weird
interesting.
connection between
You're right.
Voldemort and Neville now.
So then they're like, this unicorn with the blood, with the thing, and Harry's
Don't
wand.
tell him
and
that.
the
He's
whole-
gonna like
yeah.
this whole chart.
I'm
Again, it's like it's
Yes.
always sunny in
Always
Philadelphia.
Sunny,
I think Danny's gonna be like,
yeah.
Like, this
he's
is
gonna
what it
open the
is.
door and Danny's gonna be in the dark.
I think I got it, guys.
Oh my gosh.
Why do you think Draco forewent his role as a prefect?
Because he's a Death Eater.
It's
That, like,
easy to
it
Jen. It
kind of
makes
makes
sense to
sense.
Jen.
But why though?
What do you mean?
I'm just curious. You said you were saving that one up.
There it is.
It finally escaped.
I didn't even mean to. That's so dumb of me. Sorry, there's my input.
Wait, what
Because
is
I think that makes sense because he's a Death Eater. But I just like, I'm curious why you think that.
Because Harry makes great points. why does everyone think Lord Voldemort won't pick a 16-year-old? Who even really knows what he's thinking now? He's back and he's doing different things.
Mm-hmm.
And we know that Snape needed to do an unbreakable vow with Mrs. Malfoy for her son.
Mm-hmm.
Then he has something that looks suspicious on his arm.
Could it be an unbreakable vow? Is an unbreakable vow visible on your arm?
What? But then he's afraid of Snape because then does it show like Snape's name on your wrist?
Well,
Wait,
he
no.
wouldn't have done it.
Malfoy,
Narcissa,
and
Malfoy could have done an unbreakable vow
and
with someone
Voldemort,
else.
or somebody else. That is interesting. I wouldn't be surprised if it showed, but we have no reason to think that it would.
I mean, it does wrap around your arms.
Yeah,
and,
during
like,
the thing, it gave me the
so could it burn you like a
like
rope?
it leaves a little mark there. Maybe. It wasn't said, but I could see it.
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm curious. But I'm still not convinced that he showed his arm. I thought he was showing a physical thing.
Yeah.
But if it was his arm, these are two good theories.
But I feel like you should treat him like a Death Eater because then
I mean, yeah, because what's the difference? For all intents
For
and
sure.
purposes, we don't
Yeah.
trust him. We think he's evil. Yeah, but that's why to me, it doesn't matter if he is a Death Eater. The only reason that would be worse is because he could maybe press his arm and have instant Voldemort access.
So there,
Because didn't they do that at some
Yep.
point? Like
Yep.
Voldemort touched Wormtail's arm or something
and
to send
summoned
his
all the other
signal.
Death Eaters, yep.
So, I mean, that's not ideal to have a direct a bat line to Voldemort. But other than that, I don't think it really matters if Malfoy is a Death Eater or not.
I'm also surprised that Mrs. Malfoy is like I don't know, it's just weird. You'd think you'd be like, okay, remember these whole Death Eater thing with your dad and Bellatrix? Let's just not do that. Let's get away from that.
No. Are the Malfoys redeemable characters to you guys?
No.
I wanted them to be.
I wanted
Narcissa
Malfoy.
still is.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone else is.
Do you think Draco is at all? Could Draco redeem himself in some way? So
If
would be
Snape is
so
good, maybe.
Hard.
yeah, I mean,
Because he
that's a
has
big
a good
question.
relationship with Snape.
I cannot imagine Draco being redeemable right now because it's so annoying when he kicked Harry in the face and broke his
know.
nose. Like things like that, I'm just like, it's hard to come back from that kind of.
Yeah.
Like that feels like.
But
an
redeemability
evil.
is different from being like a double agent or something like that. You definitely
Yeah.
don't think the Malfoys are double agents, do you?
No.
Like they seem pretty clearly aligned with Voldemort. But coming back from something, being redeemed from something, like
Yep.
maybe, do you think that they could have a moment where
No, that's like,
they
said it wrong.
do something that like completely foils the whole plan?
maybe the last second.
If
Yeah.
Narcissa does something out of love for her son that throws it all off, yeah. But that's why I think she could be redeemable. I can't think of Malfoy's.
Yeah.
But you know what? That's what's so
maybe-
silly too.
yeah.
Family bonds matter.
Yeah.
So like if Malfoy did something heroic to like save his mom, then like maybe I just have a hard time picturing that right now. Or maybe.
Yeah, that is a tough time
Really?
picturing that. But again, I think your point is well served. If anybody would do it, I think it would be Narcissa, you know? And even going on to this point too of like whatever is on the forum, even if Malfoy does have the dark mark, it doesn't necessarily mean he is completely on that side. Like the Malfoy seem like all about self-preservation. He could just be like a Slughorn kind of character because Snape has the mark. You don't know anything about Snape. You don't know what side he's aligned to yet. So there's certain things like what side. It's funny you're looking down because if the bar is right.
Oh,
in
yeah,
view.
because it's right here.
It's funny.
You're like
She's giving
anger.
you the eye.
I know. Look like.
He's like, oh, what do I do?
Like, whoa.
No, it's not angry face.
Like
I just-
what? Maybe this is like another weird one, but what would Snape and Draco do to make them to confirm them on either side? I don't know if that's an answerable question.
Well, if they try to kill Harry at the
Yeah.
end of this book.
Yeah.
And to me, that's like the thing. I mean, you don't have to try to kill somebody, right? So that feels like what this is. Maybe I just misread it and it wasn't trying to kill Harry. But like, I feel like
Wait, with
Narcissa,
what?
like the whatever mission that Malfoy is now on, and the whole like thing Narcissa was like, no,
Feels
please,
like
Snape,
it
do it.
should be.
Snape's gonna jump in. So I have this idea now of at some point this year, Malfoy's gonna try and kill Harry in some big moment. It's like they've got a plan, and in that moment, Snape is going to step in and either save Malfoy from the situation, or it sounded like do the job himself, kill Harry. So,
But isn't there such a fixation that Voldemort has to be the one that kills Harry?
it does feel that way, but then I guess you're right. It doesn't have to be killing. It could be capturing or doing something else, just like with the
but he had him captured in a
trophy.
way.
Yeah, I know. He had him right there.
um
He could have killed him right there if he wanted to.
Or even Snape could have,
but maybe
like, yeah, I'll bring him inside, and then
Yeah.
went somewhere else.
maybe maybe they need more time. Maybe they really did kidnap Ollivander and they need him to make something more, and they're like, look, our wands can't fight me and Harry. It's not going to work right now. We need to wait till we get the upgraded wand or whatever else. But either way, I think when the plan is executed, we're going to have good insight into who's on whose side.
Yeah, for sure. Pivoting even off of this is another line that we get. Every now and then, students would hurtle out of their compartments to get a better look at him, Harry. The exception was Cho Chang, who darted into her compartment when she saw Harry coming. As Harry passed the window, he saw her deep in determined conversation with her friend Marietta, who was wearing a very thick layer of makeup that did not entirely obscure the odd formation of pimples still
Wow, I
etched
missed
across
all
her
this
face.
while listening.
Really?
Yep.
Smirking slightly, Harry pushed on. Does Marietta deserve this?
Not that permanent.
I know.
I mean,
time.
yeah.
Oh, so
how long
you
is this
say
now?
yes for that?
Because I'm okay with child
been
torture.
4 months? No, like
Oof.
3 months.
I thought it was
That's a
longer.
long-
Oh, it was
Wait,
the
let's
end of-
review
That did feel
though.
longer.
What did she do? She went and told
She told
Umbridge
on
about
Dumbledore.
Dumbledore's
Yeah.
army. That feels like a huge betrayal. But again, I don't think it was right of Hermione to put that in there without saying anything.
Yeah.
I think a fair contract would include the penalties for breaking the contract, so you know what you're agreeing to. I hope it goes away eventually. This should not be a lifetime thing,
Yeah,
but 6 months or a year feels kind of
But
fair.
Hermione is not that powerful and great. Like, someone knows how to undo it.
Powerful enough. Marietta's mom works at the ministry and they couldn't come up with anything. St. Mungo's couldn't handle this, or maybe she was ashamed. But
She
also,
learned a
Cho, why is
major
she hanging out with
lesson.
Marietta again? I want to know what Marietta's excuse was
Yeah.
to Cho that made them like be boys again.
The fact that she has like boils on her face permanently.
And she just feels bad. She's like,
yeah, she's like,
"Oof,
I'll never do that.
that's a good
ever
enough
again."
penalty. Yeah. Like, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fair.
Also, if you guys are cold and want to turn that fan off.
Yeah, I'm cold at all.
I'm watching her and I'm like,
She's
I
like
would be
in her invisibility
sweating
cloak right
What
now.
do
if
I
was
do?
in
Just pull that
You're
little
in a
string?
sweatshirt. I'm sweating looking at you.
Yeah, turn it down. You can turn that down a notch or something like that.
one notch.
Yeah. It'll be a little less.
I'm always cold.
Oh.
I can't do anything. I'm trapped.
Yeah, you are trapped.
She's like a little mummy.
What do you think about the Slug Club?
Slug
Slughorn's Little
Club.
Club.
It's a terrible name.
I feel like we
What?
need
I think
some
that's a great
t-shirts.
name.
Slug
I
Club.
know, we need t-shirts of that. I gotta get a designer
That's
to create
great.
Slug Club t-shirts.
Sounds like it's about
Putting it on the
slugs.
notes.
They're gross.
I feel like
Terrible name.
That's fitting though, because he's like slimy.
Yeah, he is a little
Well, yeah.
slug-like.
And walrus.
Like he wants all the.
Is that where the horns come in?
It's funny though because slugs
Is that
have
the
like
teeth?
that film that they leave behind,
Yeah.
and so like he wants to collect all these like famous people and like put his mark on them, like slug mark.
Ew. His slug
disgusting.
mark.
Yeah,
That's-
so gross.
See?
What?
That's a bad name.
I
It's
know.
terrible.
Well, yeah, it's a bad name, but Jen took it to the extreme where she's gonna put a slug mark on people. That's gross. The Slug Club itself, like that's kind of cool. I like the name. It's like
it
a
at least
little-
rhymes. We like that, you know.
It's like very hipster, you know.
But I don't want
Yeah.
to think about
No.
slug slime all over people. It's just weird.
It's not
Yeah.
physical. It was
No, I know.
all right. You know what? Shut up.
I agreed with you because I don't like the name.
They
She
are
was
too
helping me out.
loud and they outnumber us.
Do you like Slughorn himself? What's your opinion of it? Is it decreasing, increasing?
I don't know, Danny. What do you think? We know you have an essay.
No, I think I said what needed to be said at the beginning.
Has it changed?
But it might. But I think maybe in this chapter it will when we review a few things. But right now, no. I think like I like him cautiously. He was a little too close to Lucius in high school. It feels like he's very shallow. He's potions. So in a weird way, that makes me like him better.
Right? Isn't that
because
weird?
at least he's not defense against the dark arts. So maybe
I would rather have him that.
I would rather have him that
Snape.
than Snape.
Yeah.
But I think this speaks more to his
Dumbledore-
character.
Oh, sorry.
No, that was it. Dumbledore what?
No, like Dumbledore's not dumb, I don't think. Or, well, he's proven that be older, so he's forgets things.
Be losing his touch.
Exactly. But I don't think he's that out of touch right now because he needs to be on high alert. So why would he put Snape there unless he... Although I was thinking he trusts Snape, so he's like, all right, you were a Death Eater, so I want you to now be in charge to teach the kids how to protect themselves.
Like it's worth it now, even though there's a risk of it sending him spiraling.
I mean, like, what is
Probably
that
is worth it.
really going to do?
Well, yeah.
He could know that, like, Dumbledore could be playing it really well where he knows the curse on the position and knows that Snape is going to be gone by the end of the year because the curse is on this position. So maybe
he's like, you know
but
what?
Hermione did say he could just
But they're
go back
not,
to
like,
teaching potions.
dying.
I know,
it's
for sure.
Like
I know.
Lupin survived.
Yeah.
But they don't teach anymore currently of the years we know.
But
So
we don't care about that. We care about if he's going to do something bad, like be a Death Eater and collect.
Yeah. But at least he'd be gone out of Hogwarts. I just don't want him.
Why would that
killing
matter
Harry on the way
if
out.
Lord Voldemort's in charge?
Yeah, no, that's fair. I don't know, but Dumbledore wants him there. So for now, I think that's good enough for me. Maybe, but I don't like it.
Does that mean he's going to be busy doing like lots of lesson plans?
I know. Maybe.
He's been teaching potions forever.
I know. He's got to like revamp his whole... He knows potions like the back of his hand, but this is going to be different.
Yeah.
And how is he going to treat Harry?
Yeah.
And I wonder if this also could have been because Harry needs to be in both classes and Harry wasn't going to be able to take potions if Snape was still potions teacher. So this is a way...
So he could be a Auror.
Oh, yeah. Does he need to be in all those to be an Auror?
I thought it was just Snape's stipulation, or is that a...
Well, just because he didn't get high enough in his OWL for potions to do it with Snape, but now he probably can do potions and defense against the dark arts, even if Snape keeps the high standards. So, so this scenario might set Harry up for his Auror job. I don't know if Dumbledore was really thinking about that. Does that matter compared to everything else?
I want to know what happened to his hand.
I know. It's like... Yeah.
It's so annoying.
Yeah, maybe we'll get that in the first lesson. Maybe I'll tell them what happened in their first little private lesson, which we're kind of excited for.
Oh, yeah.
Here's
Harry
the next one, though.
shouldn't take any other classes. Just
I know,
like
right? Just-
Shadow Dumbledore.
I know.
What does he do anyway? Remember?
That's the real question. What is Dumbledore doing? What is he up to? What does he do in his free
Before,
time?
who knows? Now it's probably just mapping things out. I don't know.
Danny's
He does
investigating.
suspicious things. That I know.
Like his brother suspicious things? Or
No,
like,
not like things with goats. Other things.
Gosh.
I don't know what you're trying to say.
But I don't know what he does. So, but I think we're gonna find out because I think all the stuff with his hand and his ring and stuff like that, it's only a matter of time. We're gonna get more insight on it. But he's out doing important
You
things.
think Ollivander's in his ring?
What the?
What?
They shrunk him down and threw him in a
I
ring?
think it's possible. I
shrunk
mean,
him.
we've seen big things being shrunk down to small things. So with a tent, you know, like
Anything's
extendable.
possible.
Yeah.
Some people are animagus, and he's a rockomagus.
Oh my god.
He goes into rock form.
The Rock of Ages.
So he's just sitting on that ring, you know?
That's so great.
Do that ring thing.
Are you gonna get a black ring for Danny for the wedding?
I feel like you
Great.
need one now.
Yeah, I feel like I do.
Or a meteor.
There's a few more things. Is Draco dating Pansy?
Nah, stringing her along. Friends with
Yeah.
benefits.
Yeah, feels like that kind of.
Yeah.
Draco seems like that guy.
He can't have. Yeah.
She's wrapped
serious.
around his finger. He knows it. He gives her enough attention. He doesn't mind, but nah.
I didn't
Maybe.
even know this was going on in this chapter.
Why, you missed that on the train?
Yep.
Well, and she like, whose head was in whose lap?
Malfoy's head
Malfoy's,
was
yeah.
in Pansy's lap.
right.
And
Yeah. I
she was
missed that.
stroking his hair
Yeah.
and kept giving looks like something else he did. She looked at him like in some kind of weird way that was like admiring. And I was like,
There
ew.
was a line where he says he's not
Ew.
coming back, and she was shocked by that.
Oh yeah.
Yes. Yep.
Like it says, "What do you mean you might not be at Hogwarts next year?" said Pansy indignantly, ceasing grooming Malfoy at once.
Wait, is that the person that went to Slughorn?
No, Pansy Parkinson.
This is why listening is hard because I don't actually know the names.
The people that went to the Slug Club were Blaze.
They were guys.
Cormac McLagan, yeah, all guys.
yeah, okay.
Carrie,
Except Ginny.
Except Ginny.
yeah, Ginny,
Go Ginny. That's why I
Neville,
love her.
And then
So is it the guys.
I forgot the other
Showing
guy's
them
name.
What's up?
Ah, it's gonna
Representing.
bother me. Can't believe I forgot him.
We'll get to it.
But Malfoy says he's not going back. He said he's going to move to bigger and better things. What do you think he actually means by that? Is that as simple as like, again, if he's a Death Eater, moving on to like Voldemort stuff?
Yeah, I think he will become a Death Eater
Okay.
if he does his mission. Want some brie?
No, I think you're doing a good job.
All right, no.
Single-handedly. Every like question is a little jam and cheese.
Exactly.
I'm jealous.
Oh, we didn't shout out the amazing charcuterie board.
Yeah,
Yeah.
John put quite a platter
Yeah.
together
Because that's right. Because we're
It's
eating
great.
raspberry jam. Yeah,
Gross.
that was the main thing.
in honor of Dumbledore.
And then
it's
Jen
delicious.
mentioned, Kristen's like, this is disgusting. Then Jen mentioned she like jam with brie. And then I was like, oh, let me just throw something together.
Yeah,
So we
that
got
was
grapes,
so nice.
apples, crackers,
It's
really nice
delicious.
board.
smoked Gouda,
That's
brie.
good too.
and a little Parmesan.
Can't do this with one hand.
Marcus Belby, that was the other person. Thank you, people. I can always rely on chat. You guys are the best. Yeah, what do you think? What do you think of Draco besting Harry in this moment? This seems like almost the first time he's ever done it, to be honest. Like
Made me think he's stepping up.
yeah. Is he
Feels
getting
like
better?
he's been practicing. Yep.
Yeah. Is he going to show a remarkable amount of like progress in this book?
Meaning
Draco Malfoy.
Yeah.
With
besting
his
him,
magic.
like hitting him when he was up there, you know.
Because up until this
Petrificus.
point, Draco doesn't seem like a great wizard. True?
It's
right?
true. You're
yeah,
right.
he couldn't even
Is-
fly.
yeah.
He was terrible at Quidditch.
For sure. Harry beats him in every single Quidditch game. He
Maybe
kinda
he's
beats
good
him-
at potions only because Snape helps him
Yep.
out. And that's all we've seen.
Yeah.
But now he got Harry. And to me, the part that got me about this was not just that he caught Harry by surprise with a spell. Like, if you know the spell and the other person doesn't see it coming, you can get somebody. What got me is that I view him as more intelligent now because he actually was able to see something out of the corner of his eye and then play it off like he didn't. And then at the end, see something again and keep acting. So he kept the act up long enough for everyone else to leave. So that to me was discipline and good acting and like thinking, like having a 2-track mind, multitasking, telling his story, but also playing through other scenarios. I was like, ooh, yikes. This was more advanced than we've seen
Then
Malfoy
he knew
before.
that Harry would be interested in whatever he was opening.
Yep. And so even during all that, depending on when he actually became suspicious, he didn't share anything, but shared stuff. So he's being arrogant too. He's like, look, I can tell you all this. What do I care?
Yeah.
So yeah, he got Harry good. And I was relieved that he left the invisibility cloak because
I know. I thought
could've
he
just
took it.
taken it.
I know.
And that was a funny little sabotage to like leave it on top of Harry. But also it made me wonder, does he have his own? Why did he not care about this invisibility cloak? Because that would have been the biggest thing ever.
But I feel like that's
You
evidence.
steal that. It is evidence in
that
a way.
he beat up Harry.
How do you know who owns an invisibility cloak?
Dumbledore.
Yeah,
knows.
You can't write your name
Yeah.
on it. You know what I mean?
I know.
He could just say, "Oh, I got it somewhere else," whatever.
Harry, where's yours? Oh,
I guess, but Moody had one, right?
because I thought he took it too, and I was like, oh, that
would've been
sucks.
bad.
And then I was like, oh wait, no, he hit him.
But now we know
is
that he
smart.
knows that Harry has an invisibility
Yeah.
cloak, which is not good.
That's good
Snape
though,
knows
because then he'll
that,
always
yeah.
be
Always be cautious.
cautious.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, maybe it'll help Harry a little bit. Any last points in this chapter before we move on to the last one? We're all looking at Danny.
Oh yeah, always more points. Well, just because Luna's great.
Yeah.
I'm glad she came up.
Yes.
And
Glad she came back.
people expect you have cooler friends than us, said Luna.
Oh,
And Harry says, "You are cool."
Oh, I love that.
That's
That
a very
was-
nice thing to say, being Luna.
Yeah.
So sweet. And I thought that was like growth from Harry too, because
In the previous one,
yep, he wouldn't have said that. He wouldn't have thought to say it.
it's such a good transition because last book he wanted to be with Cho, laughing with all those people.
Wow, yeah, you're
And
right.
He was embarrassed to be with Neville covered in stink sap, and now Neville's butt is in the air looking for Trevor. Neville's butt is in the air
There's a
looking for
butt scene.
Trevor the Toad, and these are his friends, and he doesn't want to go by.
Wow,
Cho.
I didn't even notice that. You're so right.
It's good growth.
oh, I didn't notice that either.
I love that. These are his true friends, the people that went with him to the ministry, people that have his
Well, that's
back.
like a life changing.
Yeah.
And it's
A
his
rack
fault.
spurt. They're invisible. They float through your ears and make your brain go fuzzy. I thought I felt one zooming around in here. Wondering if that is real and if we're going to see one later.
Yeah. I was
It's like a
actually gonna
memory
ask that.
spell, but
That's
a little
what I
different.
find
you know?
so funny with her is like she throws out these random
Yep.
critters or things, and you're like, "Wait, is that real?"
Is it even
yeah.
real? We literally
Like,
don't
I
know.
feel like I've experienced a rack spurt all the time in my life.
For sure.
So many times. Professor H.E.F. Slughorn. We just got to remember that. We never know if it'll come up on a prophecy later or something. You know?
My gosh.
Sybil Trelawney.
Yeah.
The initials, and we were trying to figure that out for 10 straight minutes. You guys figured out Albus Dumbledore somewhat quickly. Jen
Yep.
was like, or Danny's like, I don't think Brian's one of his, because you guessed Brian, and Jen's like, no, there's a B right there.
Yeah,
It
I'm like,
makes
there's no
sense.
B in it. And she's like, it's right there, literally. I'm like,
Oh,
And then
Yeah.
we couldn't think of Sybil Trelawney's first name.
he got
that
it.
was funny. Yeah. And you had to like give us sections to look. You're like, maybe this chapter. I don't know. And then we like went back to it. That was great.
That was so fun.
Sybil.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah. So many things. Friendly Hufflepuffs. Yay.
It was a great
Oh
chapter.
my goodness. Why'd I underline so much?
I love the Hogwarts Express chapter. It's so warm and welcoming. You're going back into the magical world. It's like, it's lovely.
Uncle DeMockles getting
Yeah.
Order of the Merlin. Interesting.
Is the Wolfsbane potion.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think Wolfsbane potion does?
What happened?
I don't know, but I feel like it's been mentioned before.
Wolfsbane.
Yeah, it has been.
Wait,
Wolfsbane. What is the Wolfsbane potion? Come on, guys.
Spain?
Wolf's
Wolfsbane.
Bane.
Bane.
Oh,
Like break it
it's
down.
like Spain.
So is that protection against werewolves or to do something with
Protection
werewolves?
for werewolves.
For werewolves.
Remember Lupin took the Wolfsbane potion?
No.
The Snape made it for him.
Yeah,
and it
yeah,
makes
you're
him
right,
Crawl
you're
over
right.
to his office in a little ball, and he's able to endure rather than have a full
Then why is
transformation.
Snape helping everyone? That's what I find
I
weird.
know. Going back to that, it's a great question.
Yeah.
Maybe Snape wants to be the next Dark Lord, so he's tricking everyone.
Also, the fact that McLagan had a famously beautiful witch for a mother who's been
But
married a bunch of
7
times,
Yeah.
leaving her mounds of gold. Wonder where that gold is stored. Gringotts.
They're going to break in and steal it. We're going to steal the Declaration of Independence.
Just another reason for a little Gringotts action later. Anyways, I think that was it. Oh, no more
Well,
stuff.
apparently Bill can go into
Oh,
Harry's
yeah, that was so weird.
vault at
And
any
take
point.
it.
Did he
Take-
need permission?
Yeah.
Over the
What the
line.
heck? What is that?
I thought you might need this.
I know.
Like, what else did you
And
take?
Ron's like, where's my sack of galleons or whatever? All right.
So funny.
Yeah, I think that's it. You know
You
what?
can bring anything up if you want in the next video. We'll just go back to
Excellent.
it, all right? Chapter 8. I'll give a quick summary because you look like you're falling asleep. You good?
Sure.
Too much cheese?
Yes.
You want to give a summary?
I don't know if I finished this one.
If you did that one?
Can you do it?
Of Snape
Tonks
victorious?
discovered Harry. We're relieved.
that's right.
Harry does not take the train back to London. Harry gets escorted to the feast by Snape. I kind of got thrown off, but Tonks brings him to the gate with the winged boars.
Yep.
And then from there, Snape gets him, brings him up to the oak doors of Hogwarts.
Wait. So
Then it's all the normal welcome stuff. And by the end of the chapter, we find out that Ron and Harry and Hermione all dropped Hagrid's class, so we're a little sad.
Yeah.
But we find out that Snape is going to be the defense against the dark arts teacher. Slughorn is going to be potions. So busy little intro to the year of Hogwarts.
They get to pick what they want to drop, I'm guessing.
Well, there was no... I don't think there was an OWL for magical creatures. If there was, they chose not even to take the test. So, yeah, I guess you have a choice of some kind what you take, and
That's interesting. I think there was... That's
because they didn't get graded on it at least. So I thought maybe they say, do you want to take these OWLs? And you're like, no, I'm not taking the LSAT. I'm not going to be a lawyer, you know? So
Yeah.
you just kind of choose if you even want to. And none of them wanted to, maybe.
Huh. That's an interesting point. I gotta research that one. This is kind of how it starts. So Tonks finds Harry. First of all, how do you think Tonks found Harry?
Kicking every floor and turning things over. I
Yeah.
don't know.
She's
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
because she
she
mentioned
is.
the that the blinds were
Yeah.
drawn.
But
or the
she's an
curtains.
auror.
Yep, she's a detective. She's good at what she does. She might be young, but she's good.
And even in her state, whatever she's
Yep.
going through, she's still
Yeah.
found him. I was
Yeah.
impressed
Mm-hmm.
with
Yeah.
that.
And very quick. She was like on it.
This doesn't matter that significantly, but I think I might have told you this before. But Tonks is the youngest Auror at the moment, and she's the only Auror that's been selected to the Auror office in the last like 3 years. Like no one after her has been able to become an Auror.
Right.
So she's incredible at what she does. So I couldn't imagine any student being able to find Harry, to be honest. Even Hermione.
I thought Hermione might have.
Yeah, that's the only person that you think maybe could have.
Yeah.
Because she knows Harry has an invisibility cloak. So I feel like she would kick the floor
Wow.
everywhere, every inch of it. Maybe Luna could in
Yikes.
some weird way.
I feel like she'd be able to see him.
I was just going to say that.
So true.
She's like, oh, what
Oh,
invisibility
what is he
cloak?
doing on the floor?
Get
up.
So great.
Yeah.
That
Yeah,
would
she'd be
great.
good at that. She would know something.
Yeah. She would sense him. somehow.
Yeah.
Don't you know? You just milk this from a flower out in the forest, and when you throw this dust around, invisibility cloaks are visible. Yeah.
Bottle caught that.
Moody can see through invisibility cloaks, though.
Yeah.
So there are some things that can see through,
Oh,
but
that's right.
that's the only time I think we've really seen it. So
Also, people are saying on chat that there was a defense or there was a creatures OWL. Harry got an E on that one.
oh, he did.
Yeah. I guess we missed
Oh,
Wait,
you
wait, wait.
write it down in your notes.
But E is passing though.
E is
So
passing.
he passed
So he
and
could.
just is choosing not
that's
to
what I'm
take it.
saying. Like, you,
Oh, that's so lame.
it. I know that is kind of lame.
I
But I
just felt
guess-
bad. I'm like, this is your boy Hagrid.
I
I know, but they also like want to do stuff with their lives, and I guess they don't need creatures for it.
I guess. But then at the least, isn't it a relaxing way to spend time with your friend
An elective.
Yeah, right.
and get away from
And
all
ease-
the other
yeah.
classes, decompress
That
out
is
there in
sad
the
that
woods?
they all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They should have just dropped. Well, what
think-
else?
They
They dropped divinity.
Yeah, they dropped. That's a great one to
Divinity. Yeah.
drop. But
Yeah.
it would just be lovely if they could go. I mean, it's Hagrid. Like, you get to see him once a week for a
And,
class and just hang out.
Talk
with
to him too.
I
Like,
know.
don't just drop it. He's
I
not
know.
going to find out till he'll be crushed.
Yeah.
him. Do you think that he's going to be like crushed and pissed at them?
I mean, he's so kind. He might not tell them, but maybe. I think he'd be upset.
Yeah.
Will he show it or not? I don't know. But I'm sad for him because I'm like,
Yeah. I know.
just communicate.
His 3 favorite students.
Yep.
So this was another line that we got in this, and this is another one I want to talk about for a second. Hagrid was late for the start of the term feast, just like Potter here. So I took it instead. And incidentally, said Snape, standing back to allow Harry to pass him, I was interested to see your new Patronus. He shut the gates in her face with a loud clang and tapped the chains with his wand again so that they slithered, clinking back into place. I think you were better off with the old one, said Snape, with malice in his voice, unmistakable. The new one looks weak. What do you think of Tonks' Patronus form changing?
Well, that's what she is, right? Like
A metamorph, yeah, metamorph magus.
Wow,
Danny said an
interesting.
anamorph magus last podcast, or it's
I
a
don't-
metamorph magus.
Metamorph. Nice.
so
Metamorph
to me,
magus.
if she can change herself, she
can
could
change her
change her
Patronus?
Patronus.
Do you think anybody else could change their Patronus?
No.
I kind of do think it could change, but not. You can't will it to change. It only changes if you change. So I think this grief and like depression that Tonks is going through is probably what caused the change.
Do you think Harry's will have changed after we haven't seen him cast a
we haven't
Patronus?
seen
Yeah, we
it.
haven't.
Is it going to be serious? It's going to be a dog.
If it was going to
Oh
change,
my
it'd be more
gosh.
likely to change after Cedric than Sirius.
Yeah.
I think not in like a mean way, but
He didn't do it then either, though.
You guys,
No,
you guys
I
never
don't
liked
think-
serious.
No, no, he did do it.
he did do it.
He did a Patronus
I'm trying to think of
after
when.
Cedric to cover
Yeah, he-
Dudley.
Oh,
He
yes,
did after
you're right,
Cedric,
you're
for
right.
Sure, but he
And
never
it
did one
didn't-
after
I don't know
Sirius
if
so
it
far.
mentioned
We
it.
don't
No,
know.
I think it did. Yeah,
So it didn't
Hmm.
change then.
and it was in its full form. So
It was
yeah,
a
you're right.
Stag.
But something about the way Tonks is acting is even worse than Harry after Cedric or Sirius. So I feel like hers changing is a bit of a bigger deal. Like she's changing as a person. Maybe it could change back though. Also, an immense silvery four-legged creature. That doesn't sound weak to me. So I'm like, what was her Patronus before this thing? If Snape's like, oh, that's so
Yeah,
weak.
a
It's an
dinosaur.
immense four-legged creature. Like, how gigantic is this thing? It's like, yeah, well, it wasn't a dragon like your old one, which was the size of a building. So it's weird that he's insulting her like this. And how could this thing be weak? And I'm defending my own Patronus of a hare. I'm like, what would
Danny.
Snape have to say about
Yeah.
this? This is a little tiny thing. hopping
Again, it is
around.
not the animal that is weak. It is the, I guess, the vibrance of whatever the Patronus
right,
is.
but it'll be corporeal. If I'm casting that Patronus, no doubt.
That is going to be the
What
most physical
snakes?
hair you'll ever see in your life.
You'll think it's real. But also, I'm impressed that Tonks is this good that even when she's in this funk, she can still find a happy
Yeah.
place.
Yeah.
And that I think shows a lot of discipline,
Yep.
but weird dynamic.
But she's working now too. That's like two different personalities.
Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure. She's
yeah.
in her work persona.
Your
Yeah.
work personality versus
Yeah. How do you think? So, Danny, you mentioned grief, but is that the only way that a Patronus could change form?
No, I mean, I think grief is a way, maybe, but I'm thinking it's more about your emotional change. Like as you grow, maybe it could just naturally change over time. Like I could imagine, for example, like if you have a child, that would change fundamentally your view of the world. And maybe not only would it give you new memories or like things to cast your Patronus, but that could be part of what causes the Patronus form itself to be different. But I think maybe we're just seeing the negative side of that. Unless Tonks did some intense walkabouts this summer trying to get revenge, and she's been through way more than we even realize.
Who else?
I don't
So,
know.
who else is Patronus in that we've experienced so far has experienced so much change that their Patronus would change? Like Tonks, we have so far. Like
Yeah.
Harry's could be a possibility. Has anybody else experienced a significant amount of change in their life that their Patronus would actually change for them?
Well, we haven't seen that many
Neville?
Patronuses. Like, did we see? Oh yeah, Neville was casting it with Dumbledore's army. I forgot all of Dumbledore's army got good at that.
yeah.
So
And that-
Neville
that's-
experienced change. How so?
Well, you got more confident. So
Yeah.
it
Oh,
has-
like yeah, good change. Nice.
yeah.
And it is tough too because their kid form, a lot of them experience hardship when they were children. Luna, Neville, Harry, but they couldn't do a Patronus yet.
Right. So it almost feels like it would have been different.
Yeah.
What about all of them after the ministry situation?
Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
That's a great point.
I'm wondering if that changed anything for Dumbledore or the thing with his hand. He had a phoenix, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's cool Patronus. He's one of the few that we actually know, though. And there was someone in Dumbledore's army with like a fox and whatever else, right? Yeah, we don't know that many. Did we see Lupin do it? But he hasn't been through enough. He's looking a little bit worse for wears these days. So maybe he's been through things we just don't know. Well, honestly, Sirius dying maybe is really affecting him. I didn't really think about that. But they've been friends for decades now.
And why do you think is Snape just a nasty person? Why is he so nasty and mean to Tonks?
He is a nasty person.
Yeah.
He is a nasty person.
Like, is there something else behind his meanness specifically to Tonks in this moment?
I think so, but I don't know what.
He has a crush on her.
Oh.
He has a crush on her?
Ew.
All right.
She's like,
Who
half
are we
his
shipping
age.
Tonks with? Out of everyone that we have in the series right now, who should go with Tonks?
It's creepy now, but in a decade, Harry.
What's the age difference?
Honestly, actually, it's not even that bad because
Yeah, I thought
she
she
could
just
be,
got
she
out
could
of
be like
school.
25, 26, and he's 16. So that's a decade. That's not ideal, certainly when he's in high school.
He's
But,
got to get in
you
outside
know,
18.
yeah, like once he's an Auror as well, as long as she's not his boss, we'll see. You know, no, but I don't know. I'm trying to think if who else do we know that's around that age? I mean, Charlie. They're around. They're cool.
That's all we know. Fred and George.
Yeah.
They're only like a couple years younger,
Yeah.
older, or years, so never mind.
And they're still too attached at the hip, you know? We don't see enough personality there.
Oh, man.
We didn't get insight on it, but we know it was there with Angelina. Fred and Angelina. Man, I want Tonks to end up with someone. That'd be great. Moody's too old, but well.
Ew, that's kind of gross. I was gonna say Lupin over Moody.
What?
Lupin
Lupin.
over Moody.
Yeah,
Lupin over Moody. Is Lupin too old?
He's not.
He's,
yeah. He's not like too.
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
yeah, a
not
little
like
bit.
Moody old.
And he's
We
like
saw like more
35,
gray in
36.
his hair now, so he's like
So
he feels
wait,
more
How old is
aged.
Tonks? She is
25,
Probably
I'm just making it up, 20 something.
25-ish, 26.
Yeah, right.
and then Lupin's 35.
Yeah, around 35, 36.
And
Harry's
Kingsley is
parents would've
older,
been-
right?
Yeah,
He's
Kingsley's
bald,
a
so we
little
couldn't
older.
quite tell, but it was somehow made gray in his beard or something. Yeah.
All right, here's just another quick side note before last question in this. 50 points from Gryffindor for lateness, I think, said Snape. And let me see, another 20 for your muggle attire. You know, I don't believe any house has ever been in negative figures this early in the term. We haven't even started pudding. You might have set a record, Potter. I just wanted to make a note that the points are stupid. 70 points for this. And he got
Immediately.
5 for taking out a fully grown mountain troll.
Ridiculous.
I will never
Yeah, the
let
anger
that
continues.
rest.
What about Draco Malfoy beating up a kid?
No
Yeah.
minus points for
Right?
that, no nothing. But Harry didn't mention it.
Harry didn't
Nah, he's not gonna
confess it,
tell
yeah.
Snape.
Yeah, I guess you're
But Draco
right.
is the one confessing that.
Hmm.
He's telling everyone.
Yikes.
Even if Snape knew, he wouldn't take points away.
I
from
know.
that.
Yeah, that's such a good point. Snape and him are both.
Unless someone's watching Snape and he has to play into this mean character. Like he has to treat them poorly because Voldemort can come into his mind anytime.
Yeah, could
I
be.
don't know. It's
And yeah,
far-fetched.
you're right. It's possible. If he's still not sure if he's good or bad yet, well, he made the unbreakable vow. But even from Malfoy's perspective, if Malfoy is a Death Eater, he'd report everything back. So, yeah, could be. The hat advised unity again.
I know. Yeah, we didn't hear the whole thing. You almost wanted to hear the whole hat song, but you just didn't get to.
Like, oh,
so that's a bummer. But this is the last question that I have, and this is the last line before we hit the last questions. Professor Snape, meanwhile, said Dumbledore, raising his voice so that it carried over all the muttering, will be taking over the position of defense against the dark arts teacher. No, said Harry so loudly that many heads turned in his direction. He didn't care. He was staring up at the staff table, incensed. How could Snape be given the defense against the dark arts job after all this time? Hadn't it been widely known for years that Dumbledore did not trust him to do it? And that last point is maybe my question. Dumbledore didn't trust Snape enough to do this position, but he trusts Snape. Why did he give him this position?
Oh, it has to do with the timing of everything. Like I was saying, maybe he thinks he has skills he can share with the kids now, since it's kind of like a war between good and evil now.
Yeah.
He would be the most qualified person, you know?
His experience.
He knows more about Death Eaters than anyone else in the school. Yeah, it's not ideal. I still don't think Dumbledore would love it, but it's, you know, hard times. You gotta make some tough calls.
Do you think that he's only going to be there for a year? You think he's going to be teaching there next year too? Will he get taken away by centurions?
I don't think he's going to be there next year.
Yeah?
I think whatever happens with Malfoy and Snape and Harry, if Harry's involved, I think that's gonna make he could go back to potions, but it's gonna be major, and I just can't tell what would happen for good or bad, because he goes full Death Eater at that point, or he doesn't break his vow, or he does break the vow, and then there could be consequences. But what would those be?
I know.
Would he get killed or be sent to St. Mungo's? Or I have no idea.
All right, Dan, you have any last points in this chapter before we do the wrap-ups?
Always. How much time do we have?
Danny's going to go on a 10-minute tangent. We're all just going to
I'll try to make it 2 minutes. For one, Harry said what he would not give to fight Malfoy one-on-one. Well, he might get to it by the end of this book.
Who would win in a one-on-one duel?
Narcissa thinks Harry would. Malfoy thinks he would. Currently, Malfoy would fight more dirty than Harry. Depends how fair the duel is.
Again, that's contingent on whether Malfoy is supposed to kill Harry or not.
Yes. That would be if that's what Narcissa thinks. Which I'm kind of, but it's tough. Interesting that Dumbledore showed his hand on purpose.
Yeah.
He did not wear gloves, but once he showed it, he covered it up and said, nothing to worry about here, and then moved on. I just thought, well, why show it?
Yeah.
He's powerful enough that he didn't have to.
He could have put makeup concealer on it.
Yeah, could have done anything. He's got spells for days, or just physical gloves.
Or Fred and George probably have something for it.
Yeah, literally. And I was wondering then if his hand injury could be related to Inferi, because it kind of looks like undead. Harry said, personally, I'm going to keep my fingers crossed for another death. Yikes. That's dark, Harry.
That is. He's getting a little darker. I know.
Yep. He is wishing for Snape to die. Harry was still wearing his trainers. What are wizard shoes? Because I was just thinking, I never really thought about what they wear on their feet. But what do they wear? They're not wearing tennis shoes. They're not wearing sneakers. Not flip-flops. Like, what's on their feet?
I love that you were thinking that. What are wizard shoes? Maybe that's a big plot point that's going to come up in the future.
Yeah.
Moccasins, yeah.
What were they wearing?
Ollivander is in a disguise right
Ruby
next
red
door
slippers.
making shoes now. But yeah, I just feel like we haven't had any shoes mentioned in these books, right? I'm like, not a single time. And I'm like, they can't be wearing boots. It's so uncomfortable. But they also can't just be wearing Nikes. So anyways.
Magic, so
there's a wizard.
Custom shoes.
Yeah, there's a wizard version of Nike somewhere.
And the last thing was Grop is going up into a cave in the mountains. I'm curious if it's the same one that Sirius was in.
Yeah.
Because that'd be a cool spot to go, find a few serious things that can stir up some stuff for Harry for good or bad.
Yeah, some good remembrances of that.
Yep. That was it.
All right. Give me favorites, guys. Who wins the Cows Cup this chapter? Hot Tamale, and what's your favorite moment?
Hot tamale is Ginny, obviously.
Yeah, that's an easy one.
Well,
A little controversy. Wait your turn. Hold on.
yeah, I'll wait because she's good always. But
I always give it to her because I love her.
She's such a hot tamale. Yeah, she's great.
Yeah. Yeah, stuff that mouth with cheese so I can finish mine. House cup. What is it? A house cup and favorite moment?
House
I
cup.
like when Tonks saved Harry.
Ooh, yeah, that was a good moment.
I feel like that's a good moment because I thought she was maybe too depressed to be really doing her job, and they were just saying she's stationed somewhere else, and I'm thinking she has like a desk job.
Yeah, I know.
So all of a sudden she comes and to save Harry.
Yeah, that is really cool.
So I thought that was pretty neat.
Tonks
And
would've been
she
a
also
great
had
defense
a bunch
against the
of
Dark Arts
spells,
too.
and he was nervous. Harry was nervous. Are you going to be good at fixing
I know,
my
and
nose?
she was
and
great,
then,
yeah.
and then when they said, what happened to your face? He thought it was his nose still.
I
He
know.
thought like maybe he had a pig nose.
He
or
just had
something.
like blood all over it, but he thought his nose was still
Yeah.
busted. And Hermione's like, your nose looks normal. So she's great at that. Tonks is a hot tamale.
She can be, yeah. And then house cup. That one's harder.
Mm.
No.
There were just a
that
lot of
wasn't-
moments.
That
in
wasn't
these
a
chapters.
yes to talk yes.
I'll just keep eating my cheese.
I'm trying to think. It was Slughorn chapter, Malfoy
yeah.
chapter.
It was, they were in
I guess
Diagon
it
Alley.
was kind of Harry, maybe.
Mm.
I don't like giving it to him.
Yeah, I know. He did great though.
I feel like he was detective work. He was good at trying to be emotionally in tune with people. So.
He showed real maturity for who his friends were.
Mhm. Yeah, he gets it.
We don't want to give it to him, but he's maturing. He's getting great. So we're liking him again.
I mean, the book's named after him, so I try to avoid him.
He gets enough attention.
The chosen one. I also like how no one's even. He's ready.
I also like how no one's even.
No, when everyone's bringing up the chosen one, no one is like. He's silent, Harry, right? He's not saying anything, so he's not affirming it or denying it.
Yeah, I like when Nearly Head in the Snick too is like,
I
I would
know.
never
Yeah,
betray
right.
his trust. I have a good relationship with him. We've seen you in like 2 pages in this book.
But none of his friends know either.
I know.
No, he did tell them.
Yeah, he told Harry
So
here, Ron
Hermione and Ron because Dumbledore said
Yeah.
to. So they also.
They know, but no one else really
But
does.
they were also defending it too. Like, oh, yeah. It was like they were making it sound like a rumor, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, so it was good. All right, you can talk now.
I'm free. So one quick comment.
Yes.
A moment I didn't like Harry because we saw a lot of growth overall, positive trend, but on 158 here
I thought you
when
were eating cheese.
he was he was talking to Tonks after walking from the train to the gate, and he said he was far from blaming her for Sirius's death. It was no more her fault than anyone else, but he didn't like talking about Sirius if he could avoid it. And right before that, he said Hermione would have suggested he say something consoling about Sirius to Tonks, that it hadn't been her fault, but he couldn't bring himself to do it. And I just thought that was like, oh man, like I know we're just getting his inner thoughts, and that's a very normal thing to think. But when you really think about it, when you break that down, he's saying, I know I have the power to take some of this burden from her right now. And I even know what I should say, but I can't bring myself to say it. I'm like, Harry, just, I know he doesn't want to talk about Sirius if he can avoid
The
it.
grief is overpowering.
But you can't avoid it. Like
little bit.
push
I know.
for the sake of Tonks. So yeah, I get it. Grief overpowered him. So I'm not gonna be like too harsh about it. But I was hoping that his love for Tonks would, or even just his gratefulness in this moment for her, would say, you know what, I should take this extra burden emotionally on myself by relieving her of it and having to relive something with Sirius I don't want to talk about. So it would have just been nice to see him actually do that. I hope we still get to see that.
You get, and yeah, to your point, sometimes you'll have moments of that where you're like, okay, I'm gonna buck up and talk about this, and some you just have no desire to like talk about any kind of.
And he
like
just knows his limits, and he can't.
For sure.
And maybe he's compartmentalizing just emotionally. He knows I just can't go there right now. So I'm not going to be too harsh, but I just wish he did.
Yeah, he could have just been having an off day.
Yeah.
Because even mentally, it's like you said, there are sometimes you can, and sometimes you just literally physically can't.
And he knows his day isn't over either.
Yeah.
He's still got to go and do a ceremony and the dinner and the feast, whatever. So, well, because of the whole thing, I'm going to give Tonks the house cup. I'm going to give my favorite moment to Tonks finding Harry. I think that was probably my favorite. Although the Slughorn lunch was pretty intriguing. Lots of names, lots of history. I was loving it. And hot tamale, Pansy Parkinson.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yep.
Hey.
Yep.
Stroking Draco's hair.
Stroking the hair.
You like those types of girls?
I said that word and Jen's head whipped around to me
Oh no!
before I said hair.
I just kept my eyes down.
No, because
Kristen, who are your people?
House cup was Tonks. I thought that was awesome that she did her job so well in the midst of whatever she's going through. My favorite, my favorite moment, I loved getting to witness Fred and George's shop. That was a fun part.
So true.
But I loved when Harry stood up for Luna and Neville. That was like, I thought that was really big of him.
That's fantastic, yeah.
And hot tamale was Ginny.
Yep, of course.
Like literally everything she says is spicy.
I know.
Whether it's good or
That's why
bad,
I love
it
her
is
so much.
laced in spice.
We used to be Hermione, but now we're Ginny.
Right. We've switched.
I'm going my hot tamale. It's an obvious one for me.
Tonks. Wow, unanimous.
So great. Yeah, you guys all said it in unison. I think she's so fantastic. She could come close to winning my house cup in this one too. I'm gonna give my house cup to Harry though. But I love Tonks. I think she's fantastic in this. She's like experiencing real grief. She's got depth of emotion. Her Patronus is changing because she loves someone so much that she's sad that they're passing. Like she has a lot of beauty. A lot of beauty to her. She's a hot tamale. Harry is my house cup because I think he just did fantastic. He showed so much growth this chapter. He did certain things good, certain things bad, but I think his growth altogether from this point to last year has been pretty immense. Because again, we were talking about the Hogwarts Express and just his growth in that in the year has been fantastic. And then my favorite moment, I have a few favorite moments, but one of my favorite moments is maybe a Kristen moment that one of my favorite things that I read in this chapter, because it reminded me of certain things in growing up, was when they were sitting there at the Burrow waiting for the cars to come. And they just all, in my head, they all had their luggage. They all were just sitting on their luggage. And it reminded me of the times in my life when I'm like when we went on our Florida trip senior year. It's sitting in the airport, you're just hanging out with your friends and you're just chilling. I love moments like that. And the moment you you're
before going to vacation.
And the moments you hate those, you're like, oh, why are we? But when you look back, those are parts that I remember. You're just hanging out, sitting on your luggage with your friends, just talking, I love that moment so much for that reason. I also loved Harry on the train saying that these are his true friends, and what he did with Neville and Luna there was just fantastic. I think that was great. And then I'm just a Quidditch guy, so I love the idea of playing two-a-side Quidditch.
Oh, yeah.
In the very beginning, it's the first paragraph in these chapters. I just love that. I thought that was great.
Yeah, we haven't had that in a while.
I know. We haven't had Quidditch in a while. I know. Harry's a Quidditch captain, which I think is actually a severe disservice to Katie Bell, who has been on the team for so many years and isn't the captain. But Harry's great. He's good.
Of course.
But Katie Bell's been there for a year longer than him. But that's all I got. So thanks for joining us on our journey of Harry Potter and the First Time Readers. Until next time.
Wait, how do you even do two-a-side Quidditch?
I don't even know. I was trying
No
to think of that.
seeker. It's just all about scoring.
Yeah,
Do you have a
just gotta be
goalie?
about scoring. Yeah, it's like saying I'm sure it's probably like two-a-side soccer. It's weird. It's hard to play.
Yeah.
I'm sure like three-a-side would be fun. It's probably no goalie.
Really small goals.
Yeah.
And,
Really close quarters.